Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host.
Brad Sloan.
Back in the house, baby. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, we haven't been the best at getting pods up, unfortunately. We've been pretty about the written stuff though. You've been really good about it. I took a week off the first week of the clay season. I apologize for the vacation, guys. Just life got kind of out of hand, and I just wasn't able to put the time in to properly like bet on it, and I just didn't want to just throw bets out there without thinking, without putting in the proper my what I felt was proper, thought. So yeah, I kind of ended up, and I like the first couple of days, I was like, oh, I'll push it back a day, I'll push it back a day, and I just never happened. So I apologize
GBM
for that, guys.
GBM
But
gives 1 week of paid vacation and that's it.
I did make it back from Monte Carlo, and I have been back for this week. So
You're done for the year. So
we'll see about that. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 5 a.m. starts are really hard to get write-ups in because we got stuff to do after work, and sometimes we play tennis, got family stuff. So I usually like wake up really early to play or to post my stuff, and I apologize. Like sometimes I miss the early matches, but 5 a.m. starts are tough. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
I agree. They're tough. I agree. I think they're tough. Yeah. Oh, that's all I'll say. I
Yeah.
agree.
But next week,
And I would say we apologize. So I think the biggest thing I think in my mind that suffered is the quality of the write-ups. Like I feel like I've gotten some picks out. I've gotten honestly most of my picks out like right before the matches or right after the matches are starting. But we probably haven't given people ample time, and then the write-up quality's been pretty poor.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely easier for us during the like American swings, right? When we have like the whole morning to kind of do them, right? And when matches,
I think
it's
especially
hard
the
to do
write-ups.
write-ups when the matches started at 5 a.m. unless like we're up till like 2 in the morning, So
Yeah, yeah.
so that's why it's a great quarterfinal slate in uh Barcelona and Munich. So we want to
Yeah,
get this
let's kick it
pod
off there.
out.
I
So
think we can.
let's
I don't know how much
get
people really
some
want to listen to us whine
good
about
stuff.
why we're not good at getting stuff posted. They probably just want to hear what we post. So
Yeah. Well, before we start, I just want to let everyone know I'm heading to Madrid next week. I'm going to be live on site. So it was kind of a last minute trip. My professional endeavors got pushed back a little bit, so I decided to take a week off and go on vacation. So unfortunately, it was like too last minute for you to join me, but I'm
yeah,
excited.
I'm already taking vacation in 2 weeks. So if I wasn't doing that, I would have been happy to join you. But yeah, it's
Yeah. It's not GBM vacation though.
no, it's not. It's not GBM. No. I'm honestly, I doubt it'll be GBM vacation because I'm I'm just going alone, so I don't have like I won't have that much to do at night anyways. So I'll probably be able to spend the night like researching tennis because yeah.
Cool, cool. So yeah, so I'm excited. I hope to maybe do some like videos on site, and it's matches will start at a normal time for me, so I can wake up at a normal hour and do some write-ups. So
Yeah.
should be good. All right, so let's get right into it. So I haven't looked at the lines yet. Brad has, so we're gonna do something that we did more in 2023 than we have recently. We're gonna play some guess the lines. So we'll see how close
Yeah.
I am, and I guess like if I'm far off, then there might be some value to bet. So
All right. So where do you want to start, man? You got two options.
let's start in Barcelona.
All right. So first match: Karen Khachanov, Alejandro Davidovich Fokina.
Ooh. So I'm gonna go with Fokina being a 2-game favorite.
2.5, but it's a juice 2.5. So
Okay.
Bovada, Fokina's at 2.5 as a 2.5 game favorite. Fokina's at -125. Khachanov is at +105. The money line is -185 on Fokina, +155 on Khachanov, and the over-under is 22.5 games.
Okay. It's one topic I wanted to discuss with you actually. Like with Fokina having, a really good season so far, and making the semifinals of Monte Carlo, do you view him as being top 10 on clay right now?
No,
Okay.
top 20, but not top
Top
10.
20.
Yeah.
All right, so who do you put higher on clay right now? Fokina or Dimitrov?
Well, that's close.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're thinking. Like,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I
what
mean,
players are around him in your view on clay, like right now?
yeah. So I mean, I would put Fritz slightly above.
Ooh,
I'd actually
no,
put Draper
not
near him.
me.
That's probably what?
Not me. I would put Fokina above Draper right now. Above Fritz right now.
Okay, I put Draper near him. I put Demoner near him. I'd put
Ooh, I put Demonor a little bit above him.
okay. Yeah, those are probably the guys I'd put near him. I put
Okay,
Musetti slightly above Fokina.
I would
Rune
agree with
slightly
that.
above Fokina. Yeah.
I mean, he played Alcaraz tough. He played him 6-4 in Monte Carlo, and then beat Rublev down pretty easily. Like I don't know.
I thought Rublev played. I thought it was a very disappointing effort from Rublev.
Okay.
I was very concerned. I mean, I watched the match. I was very concerned with Rublev's level.
Okay, I saw the first set. Didn't see the second. Like, so you thought that was more bad Rublev and good Fokina?
I was very I'm very concerned for Rublev actually moving forward with that performance. He didn't hit the ball very big. Like Fokina was out hitting him off the baseline. If Rublev's being out hit, he what is he going to do?
Do you think that's a strategy that he's trying to implement with Safin and trying like not to go too big all the time and kind
If it
of
is, it's not a very good one. I mean, he doesn't have like unless he's trying to work on developing like the rest of his game, but like he
yes.
doesn't have anything else. Like what else is he gonna do?
I noticed that in the first set. I felt like he was trying to get more shape and consistency and then look for like an injection of pace kind of thing. Because I felt like in the past he's always just tried to hit every ball big or as hard as he can.
I thought it was way too
Right.
much the other way. If he's doing that as a strategy, I feel like he's way overcorrected personally.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
You could be right. Like he didn't, it wasn't all the time. In the second set, he was yelling at himself, like hit the ball. He yelled hit the ball like several times.
Oh, okay.
So it did seem like for whatever reason it was tentative, or I don't know if it was off or tentative, but it was concerning just in that like the net game still isn't there. He still doesn't really
No,
have
he's
anything
not.
else that's even like,
Right.
besides hitting big off both wings. So if he's not doing that, like I just don't know like what the like that is. That's all he's got.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, if you're not doing anything else, then that strategy doesn't work, right? If you're
Yeah.
doing other things and adding variety and angle and all that kind of stuff, then it could work. But
Right. And if you're hitting drop shots, but like the problem is when Rublev takes something off the ball, then he's just hitting his standard ground strokes. It's not doing anything.
yeah, it's true. Yeah, I don't know. Fokina, like he looks really good. I think it's the best tennis he's played. He looks more composed on court, like and physically he's a specimen. That's
Did he
what
change coaches?
not sure about that.
I feel like he did, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
It looks like he made. Well, he went to Verdasco. We made fun of him because he went to Verdasco for a couple months, but then he did change. He changed beginning of this year.
Okay. All right. So maybe it's made a positive impact. I mean,
Well, I do feel I have seen his coaches in the I think a couple times now. And I don't know how much it helps or doesn't help, but I've seen them stress in big moments, like play this point, play this point. Like don't think, just play this point, which I think is kind of interesting because I mean, in my mind, that's been the difference this year. And it's hard to say like how much of this is variance and how much this is like him actually figuring it out. But I don't know that like I don't know if he's playing that much better or if he's just because I feel like he's still making some dumb errors. I feel like he's still kind of I feel like he hasn't changed that much as a player. I feel like he's been better in the big moments.
well, that's who he is. He's an aggressive baseliner who, like he's gonna miss balls, like everyone does.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his service points one, return points one, and this isn't adjusting for competition, but last year he finished in 42 matches, he finished at 100.5 service points one, return points one. This year he's at 102.
Okay.
So it's not a massive difference. Now again, I didn't even look at competition there. I just pulled that up in like 10
Yeah,
seconds.
but his tiebreak record must be substantially better.
Yeah, 7-17 to 10-8.
Right. That's
Um,
a huge difference.
yeah, yeah. So that's been the difference for him. Um,
But watching his like point construction, I feel like last year he was going too big too early in rallies, and like this year he just seems a little bit more. He just seems more composed on court. I don't know if it's due to confidence. Probably has something to do with it. Just having good results. You know, um, but he seems to be like pulling the trigger on the right shot more so than he was last year. So I don't know. I think this coaching change has made a good difference because physically he's not someone with players want to deal with from a like an athletic perspective.
yeah, I mean, again, I don't know. Like he's also playing the break points 4% better this year. So this year his service points 1 and return points 1 on break point is 100 and I think it's 105. I'm just looking it up real quick.
Okay, that's quite good.
It's 100. No, I'm wrong. It's actually 108 versus
Wow.
100 and 108 versus 104 last year. Or 100, no, 108 versus 103.
Yeah, it's a big
So
difference.
he's playing the break points better both ways. That's a big difference, and he's playing the tie breaks better. I mean, so it's hard to say. Is it like clearly there's been a difference in terms of he's playing the big points better? The question is it confidence or is it uh is
Based on
it
his game
variance? It's hard to say.
variance, or is he just a better player now? Right?
Well,
Like,
no, I think it's is the head better. Like I actually don't think he's a better like that's my personal thing. I don't think he's a better player on like the normal points. I think the question to me is like, is he a bigger player now? Has he figured out a little bit of the mental thing, which is what was the biggest problem for him?
okay, yeah. I mean, it's definitely improved. It's like, how much has it improved though? Like,
Yeah.
and that's hard to quantify. I feel.
Well, it's hard on a limited points base, right? We're looking at break points and tie breaks over three
Right.
months. So you're looking at like a small number of points in a decent sized sample, but a small number of points in that sample. So like,
And
yeah, I
now
mean, it's
if you like put what we discussed and translate it to the or put it together with the Kachanov match coming up tomorrow. Like, I think Fokina is a substantially better clay court player right now than Kachanov. Like, I think he has a little bit more on his shots. He's a better mover. Like, just from a pure tennis perspective.
I would
Um,
agree with that. Yeah,
I think
I
Kachanov,
think he's just a better tennis player, period, right now than Kachanov is.
yes.
I mean, Kachanov has been quite poor now, well below his normal standards for a year and a half. Like at some point, and I think the market's finally adjusted to it, but at some point, he's just not that good of a player anymore.
Yeah, and I
Right? Like
don't
at some point, he's not that great of a player anymore until he shows that he is.
and if Fokina is performing better in those spots, like, mentally, then and there's not as big of a mental gap as there used to be between him and Kachanov, I think you have to take Fokina in some capacity here.
So, like in terms of pure tennis, right? Do I believe Fokina will win the match? Sure, but the money line's out at minus 185. So, like, the question is, do you think he's 3 games better in a best of 3 match?
If there's no mental gap, then yes. I think he's 3 games better in terms of the tennis perspective. What we discussed is it's hard to quantify how much he's improved mentally, right? So how much stronger or like how much stronger is Kachanov mentally than Fokina now that he's gotten better? That's really the question I'm asking.
Right, right. I hear you. And yeah, for what it's worth, Kachanov 0-6 so far this year against players in the top 50. Now, most of those have been close losses. I don't know how relevant that really is, but it is
Mhm.
interesting that he can't seem to beat guys anymore.
Right. Because I think, the thing with Kachanov, he's very, very one-dimensional, right? Like he has a plan A and if it's not working and he's not like making progression in rallies, it's a struggle for him to win points because he's not a great mover. He doesn't do anything particularly amazing, right? He's just
He hits
like,
big off the baseline. He's got a solid first serve,
but that's negated
and
with
he's
the
very
12
tough.
points. He's tough, but that's the big shots off the ground are kind of negated because he can't follow them in. He can't finish points in net. Fokina's more adept at doing that, right? The serve
For
doesn't
sure.
make much progression.
Yeah.
So,
I just don't know if Bokina utilized the slice more. I think he'd be really worth backing him.
fair. Do you think fatigue factors in with Fokina, like coming off a long week in Monte Carlo and then, playing yesterday against Rublev?
So I would say no, only because he did beat like he got off the court in 2 sets, and then he's only played one. He's only played 2 matches so far this week. Right, it's only been 2 matches in 4 days. He did get a couple off days,
Mm-hmm.
and he got an off day. He got an off day Sunday, Monday, right after Monte Carlo. It's not like it's not a bad travel.
Yeah.
Um,
What's
the
what's the
Brigham
over
match
12?
wasn't very physical.
What's the Fokina over 12 and a half?
Minus 125.
Okay. And what's the Fokina 2-0?
I think that's going to be in the plus 150 range, but let me check for you. $130.
Plus 130?
Yeah.
That's interesting because you did before we started the pod, you talked about how unders play up in Barcelona,
Yeah.
how slow it is. So like, but then again, playing 2-0s with Fokina is dangerous because like, we talk about his improvements in the mental game, but he's still prone to those dips, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he had a couple against Rublev today. He broke himself a couple times. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, he'll break himself for sure a few times during the match.
right. And that makes
He'll
it
get him back too. I mean, he'll get the breaks back. Like he's
right.
he's going to execute stuff during the match too. It's not going to be all bad, but yeah.
I kind of like that over 12 and a half, even though you're laying juice. It's not like too much juice.
Yeah, that's where I looked. If you're going to play this, I think that's a good look.
Yeah.
If you, I won't be playing this. I won't be playing this. I think this line is pretty spot on. I agree. I think Fokina is a better player by a significant margin. It's just, is he really 3 to 3.5 games better? Because even if you think he's 3 games better, three is minus 105. So like
Ooh,
it really is like two
okay.
and three quarter. You know what I mean? So it's like you really got to think he's more than 3 games better. I don't.
But I definitely lean the taking the Fokina side over the catching up side.
Yeah, I don't know if I even have a lean here. If like I said, I think the minus 125 looks interesting for Fokina. You're just talking about Barcelona, so you're really hoping that Fokina breaks himself back, and that
Yeah.
catching up just battles to get to 5 in a set. Um,
I mean, let's see if I like another short favorite because like maybe playing the money line parlay if you want to play this match, like playing Fokina money line combined with something else, like that might be a look.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
It is worth no. I mean, in the 6 matches that Kachanov has lost this year versus top 50 players, his opponent has gone over, 12 and a half each time. So yeah, kind of, like, I mean, I mean, the problem is I think over 2.5 sets, I think it's plus 120 on Bovada. So or no, plus 130 could be a look if you think that Foki's going to punt a set with some dumb errors.
it's not been a good bet for me this week. Like it was good in Bucharest, but it's not a good bet for me here. So
Yeah, I think it's tough. Barcelona's a really underrated tournament.
yeah.
Um, but I just don't know that
I'm leaning
Fokina's.
the Fokina 12 and a half or minus 2.5 or -3. Like if I can get -2.5 at standard -110, -115 pricing, that's probably where I'm gonna.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's juiced to minus 125. So
All right, what's the next match?
All right, next match is let me pull it up. We've got Holger Rune and Casper Ruud.
Ooh, it's a tough one. I think Rude has to be favored, but it can't be that short or like, yeah, he can't be that short of a. Or am I saying it wrong?
It
Rude,
can't be that long, right?
he can't be
You're
that
saying he
long.
can't
Yeah.
be a huge favorite. He can't be that
Right.
long.
I'm gonna say Casper is like a minus 140, minus 145 favorite in that area.
Minus 155.
Okay. It it's tough. I mean, Holger Rune is such an enigma. He's so hard to bet because like I don't know if he's sick. I don't know if he's gonna show up. I don't know if he's gonna like feel like playing. I don't know, what his mom fed him for breakfast. Like I have no idea.
Yeah, I would
It's
agree on
really
that.
hard. It's like, he's talented enough to be, a consistent top 10 performer. Like, and Clay should actually be good for him. It's just he has these just random duds. And also Rude is a guy that like I think he struggles against guys that can overpower him. Like that match against Hamad was a struggle. Like he honestly shouldn't have won that match. I know you saw more of it than I did, but he was down breaks in both sets, and
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, we just talked about Kachanov. I think in a lot of ways, Ruud is a better version of Kachanov.
good point.
Obviously, he's got that big forehand, right? He's got the big forehand. I mean, the difference there is actually it's probably not a very good comparison because really with Ruud, it's the forehand, right? It's
Mhm.
that big topspin forehand, which works really well on these courts, especially if it's sunny. Let me check the Barcelona weather tomorrow. It's always good to know. Uh, Barcelona weather tomorrow, partly cloudy, high in the mid 60s.
Okay.
This is a day match, so yeah, I mean, should be pretty good weather. Um, Minimal
But
wind.
Rude performs better when he's playing someone underpowered and he can dictate play, right? I mean, that goes for pretty much everyone, but I think more so with Casper because like then they can't pressure that backhand and he has time to run around the backhand to hit the forehand and kind of get the opponent off the court. Like Galan, right? It was such an easy match for him because like Galan didn't have the weapons to kind of get Rude on the stretch, and Rude was able to attack at will.
Yeah.
Like if Rude was playing an Arthur Feast, for example, that's a matchup where I think that would be a terrible matchup for him.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. So I agree with you. Um, I think there's something that so it's really funny because like we're kind of gonna switch roles here because like usually that's the kind of take that I would have. I feel
Yeah.
like you have a lot of those takes too, but I feel like I would
Yeah.
have that kind of take.
Okay.
I'm gonna have a take that you would have.
Okay.
I think there's a massive like focus gap here.
Okay.
Not like mental, I don't know, not mental like clutchness, but there's a massive like tactical slash focus gap. Um, so yeah, I'm looking up Holger's stats recently versus the top 20. Uh he's 4-8 in his last 12 versus the top 20. Did better in Indian Wells, beat Tsitsipas, Medvedev, and Ugo. Although the Ugo match really wasn't good. Ugo's really not a top 20 player on slow hard. But like, I don't know. I think there's a massive I think there's a pretty massive gap here there. And then the other thing I would say is I'm looking at the head to head. There's a big head to head here too. Uh, there's a 6-1 advantage for Root on the head to head, 5-1 on Clay, and all of those since 2021. Obviously, that's when those guys kind of came on.
Yeah.
Since 2023, it's been 2-1 Rude. The last four matches the
But they've been close. I mean, they played two matches at Roland Garros, right? Or three
yeah, they
matches.
were both four setters. Yeah, the last four, yeah, none of the last four matches have been straight setters. Um, yeah, for the most part, they've been close.
I mean, that's what I was thinking about this match. Like, what's the three sets here? Because that's where my mind was heading.
3 sets is plus 125.
Still not terrible, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a match where you could actually make the case. Like, usually I say, oh, if every such a coin flip, blah 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 blah. But like,
Yeah,
it's hard to back the plus 125 because somebody could dud and that kind of screws you over. I feel like this one's different in that, like, because of Rune's like lack of focus sometimes. Um, yeah, I feel like because of that, like, there's maybe more of an argument here than normally for like to play
yeah. Because if he
to
has a
play
lack
that.
of focus, Rude wins the set. But if Holger plays his best tennis, Rude has no chance.
Yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, in those 12 matches I mentioned in the past 52 weeks, where and actually I can pull it too. I can pull it for just Clay. So since beginning of 2024, he's 6-12 against the top 20. If you take just Clay, 1-3. Um, but again, like, he's split the first 2 sets in 9 of the 18 matches. So yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely Rune is like he's very capable of winning a set. He's very capable of punting a set.
Right, right.
Um,
I
my play here
honestly,
is similar to you. Actually, I'm playing the Rude 2-1 at plus 285. I just feel like there's a physicality edge here for Rude. Like, just because Rune, I don't know, I feel like Rune gasses himself out
yeah,
sometimes.
but if he does, he'll call it quits when he's down 6-1, 4-1. Like he's
Well,
not.
no, but he's not like that's why I'm playing the 2-1, right? Is because I think like I'm counting on Rude to take a set.
I
Rude to take a
actually
set.
see.
Sorry.
I don't like this in this instance because like I feel like Rune Holger he has the capability of beating him pretty badly if he decides to show up and play his best tennis. Like he has the power off both wings, and if he attacks that backhand at will and he's like really feeling it and red lines, like there's that chance that he wins easily. He just hasn't been able to put it together against Casper, but like
I mean, so
he's just
the
very
only issue
match to
I would
match.
take with that, Manny, is, and it's interesting because it's been two very recent matches. But again, if I look at the 18 matches in the last 2 years against top 20 guys, or the 18 matches since the beginning of 24 against top 20 guys, he's won 2 in straight sets. The Tsitsipas won it, and the Medvedev won both in Indian Wells. And like, I mentioned this trending stuff because I do feel like I just don't I just like I agree with you. I think it's there that I agree with you completely. I think he could redline. Do I see that as being
Yeah.
a huge probability thing?
Okay.
I don't know, man.
Fair.
Like, I just don't like. He doesn't do it. like he
Yeah,
should, but he
you're
doesn't.
right.
You know.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I honestly just prefer the three sets at plus 125. Like to me that's okay. Because I
So
also
you think
wasn't
Rude? You
seeing
think Rude? You think Holger 2-1 is in play?
I do. I do.
Okay. All right. I don't think it's a ridiculous take. He seems to be getting better at the physicality side.
Well, I also think if it goes three sets, then Holger is fine physically. And then in that third set, like he can find a purple patch and put Root away. So I think that's a possibility. Like what's the Holger 2-1?
Uh,
You get like north of if you get north of plus 400, I actually might play that.
420.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad. Yeah, because you see also I'm not that convinced on Casper's form either. Like you could make the argument he should have lost to Hamad, right? And like to me, Hamad and Holger are pretty similar players in a way. And I think actually, well, who is more mature, Hamad or Holger?
Holger.
Yeah, okay. So Is it that little bit of extra maturity and like maybe slight edge in fitness that Holger has that, like
Oh, I don't know if Holger has an edge in fitness. I would disagree with that. I mean, Rude is one of the fitter guys out there.
no, than Hamad. I'm
Yeah,
comparing
I
Holger and
guess.
Hamad.
Yeah, Holger versus Ahmad. Yeah, Holger would have an edge in fitness. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think they're similar because they both have big weapons up both wings, yet they're immature. Right? And look how close that match was. And I think Holger is better at transitioning to the net. Like he's a better player than
Oh,
Hamad.
Rune's a much better player. I mean, Rune is
Yes.
is a rich man's version of Hamad. But like,
Yeah, and you saw how close that match was. So that's my hesitancy here.
yep, I hear you.
So, all right,
It's
so I
tough.
think that's
I
just
do
gonna
agree.
play.
I think it's tough because like, yeah, like I think from like a pure tennis, like the take here for me is, and that's why I specifically kind of like the 2-1, because I agree with you. I don't think tennis wise, like I don't know that tennis wise there's a huge gap here. Like I think there is, but not in terms of like the strokes, right? Like in terms of the strokes and like the peak skill level and the matchup, I get it. I feel like I didn't click the button yet. I'm actually now kind of more starting to debate it because I think you kind of have a point. Um, I can't take the Rune side though. I just don't, or yeah, I can't take the Holger side of this. I just don't trust him
You
to.
remember what side you were on prior to those French Open meetings, particularly last year?
I don't.
Because to me that would be kind of interesting. Like I want to kind of go back and look and see what side I was on in that match.
Yeah, but
Because
I can pull something interesting for you. Let me see. Give me a minute here. I'm pulling up the. I'm gonna see if I can find the lines of previous Rude matches.
that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah. So average line on Rude is +1 on Rude is plus -175 +137. Um, in their head to head, Rude beat him in 3 in Acapulco on hard last year as a -149 favorite. -149 +125. He was a -130 +110 at the 2023 French. Holger was a -165 favorite, +135 in 2023 on clay. He won that one. Rude was a -233 favorite versus +185 at the 2022 French when he won in 4. So the favorites won all 4 of their head-to-head matches. Or actually all 5 technically, but Rude was a massive favorite in Monte Carlo 2022. That was before Rude had kind of broken out. I don't think it's very relevant
Yeah.
here. But
I don't necessarily know how much has changed since any of those meetings, to be honest. Like they both seem kind of to be the same. Like you could actually make the argument that Rune has regressed since last year's French.
I don't know if I agree, but I can understand where that's coming from. Like I don't think it's a ridiculous take.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm gonna play the 3 sets there. That's gonna be my bet, +125. I can't really lean aside. The Rune 2-1 is where I'm leaning more so than the Rude just because of the price. But yeah. All right, next match.
Next match, we got this is a 4 o'clock start match, so it's late afternoon. Carlos
Okay.
Alcaraz and Alex de Minaur. Oh, just
Um,
just to close out the Rude match, Rude -150. Rude is -155 on the money line. Holger Rune at +130. The over/under is high here. It's 23, which is high for Barcelona and clay. Um, I just think that these guys are too likely to play 3 sets, Rune and Rude,
yeah,
to want
that's
to
why
take
it's
that.
high, right? So just
Yeah,
play the 3 sets at plus money. Like I don't know
yeah.
why you would
But
anyway.
anyways, Alcaraz de Minaur, what is your thought?
Um slow clay. I would say Alcaraz is probably a 4-game favorite. That's my guess.
Pretty close, 4.5, but it's a juice 4.5, 4.5 at -125.
Oh wow, so it's even closer to 5.
Yeah, it's like 4.6 or something.
Um, I don't know. I actually think Demonor is really underrated on clay. Like I think people think, oh, he's kind of a flat ball hitter. He's like more kind of a fast court player who needs like more help from the court. But I just think that like tenacity that he has and the rally tolerance actually plays up on slow clay too. Like he did make quarterfinals at the French last year. He returns exceptionally well. I mean, his returning in Monte Carlo was incredible. I think he won more than 50% of return points during that tournament. So I think he's a bit underrated, and like the reason why Alcaraz, I mean, is a deserved favorite is just the firepower advantage, right? Like it's massive. But if Alcaraz sprays, and is just not feeling the ball at his best, like De Minaur is one of the worst opponents you can ask for. De Minaur did have match points against Alcaraz here in 2022 or 2023. I think 22.
Yeah, I think there was a ridiculous save of one of the match points. I
Right.
think I played a ridiculous point to save one of the match
Yep.
points.
Yeah. So I'm leaning here if De Minaur is, basically a 5 game dog here. Well, what's the plus 1.5 sets or three
Yeah,
sets?
that's where I think if you're going to play this, that's where I would look. I don't think 4.5 games with Demon. He just doesn't serve well enough in my mind to be
Yeah.
really worth taking 4.5
But
games.
Alcaraz is going to get broken here.
Oh yeah, he will for sure.
Yeah.
It's plus money, plus 120 to win a set. The over 2.5 sets is plus 180. If you want to play the Alcaraz 2-1, that's a plus 275.
I love the 3 sets, honestly. Plus 180. It's a very
Yeah.
decent price.
So my thought here is I'm borderline on playing this. If I'm gonna play this, it's gonna be the plus 275 for Alcaraz 2-1. I'm probably gonna stay away. I just don't see how Demon actually wins this match. I think it's a bad matchup for him. Um, he's not gonna rush Alcaraz. It's harder to get to the net on the slow play. It's like it's harder to get him out of position enough, especially with Alcaraz's athleticism and explosiveness, to get him out of position and finish with the net. Like, yeah, he can get into rallies. The question is, how much does Alcaraz spray? Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
but I hear you. I think like if I'm going to play this, the over 2.5 sets. We talk about how Alcaraz has played like over 2.5 sets, and it's a little under half now of his matches this year because he won the last 2 in straights.
I understand your hesitancy, but because the 2 matches on clay that went 3 sets against Dolo and Feast, like they have weapons, right? De Minaur doesn't.
I mean, even
So
Musetti has more weapons off the ground than Demon, I think.
I would agree with that, but De Minaur has the consistency.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah. I'm not saying I'm not. I actually think,
Well, De
yeah.
Minaur has more consistency than Dolo and Feast as well. So how much do you weigh power versus consistency in a attempt to draw errors from Alcaraz?
It's tough. Like it's tough.
Yeah. I kind of like the 2-1 too, to be honest. Like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, how much do you make of Demnor like beating Dimitrov love and love and winning all these lopsided sets and just being, an animal on return? Like, do you think that
I
that
don't care that he beat Dimitrov love and love. Um,
okay.
I tend to just throw out those kinds of matches. Like, to be fair, I didn't see it. Like, I would have had to see it, and it would have had to be like the level where like Demon really played at that level.
Yeah.
But usually those love and loves aren't that, right? Usually they're usually more one dude just doesn't show up. They're usually the double bagel guy just doesn't show up.
Yeah, I
I
thought
mean,
Dimitrov was fatigued. So, yeah, you're
yeah. I
probably
mean,
right.
Fernley 1 and 2 don't really care. I mean, I wish I had played it. Demon was like a 5.5 game favorite. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I mean, because he also, and he should have beaten Musetti, but he also did find a way to lose to Musetti. So like, and I agree he should have beaten Musetti, but yeah, I don't know, man. I'm probably not really. If this was anywhere but Barcelona, I would probably agree with you and play Demon with the 4.5. Or not
Mhm.
with the 4.5. I'd probably play him to win a set. This just isn't it. I just think this is a bad court for Demon. Um,
Yeah, I mean he did it. Like he had match points against him 3 years ago. I don't know how much like
yeah, oh, I think Alcaraz has gotten better in 3 years.
but I also think Demonor has gotten better in 3 years.
I agree. Demon's Winner's gotten a lot better. Um, it's a 3-0 head to head
But
for
Rotterdam won three
Alcaraz.
sets.
What?
Rotterdam won 3 sets,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I think, yeah, like I think, ugh, it's tough. Like I definitely the lean is Demon. Like this is never Alcaraz to me.
Yeah, I don't think you could lay 4.5, 5 with Alcaraz here. Just how error prone he can be, right?
Yeah,
Like we saw even in the second set, like Jiri went up a break, right? In the second today.
yeah,
And Jiri is not the most stable guy out there mentally as well. So like he wasn't ready for the barrage coming his way once he was up a break, right? And like Demonor will be ready for that. Like his antennas will be up at all times, So I think if
the
Demonor
problem is
gets,
he's probably going to need multiple breaks
yeah, that's true.
to win a set.
True. Yeah, I don't know. Whenever I see 3 sets with Alcaraz north of like plus 160, 170, like it's worth a play just because of that chance of him just spraying a bunch of balls. Like he's prone to that.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I mean, I think that's if I'm gonna play it, that's how I would play it.
Okay.
I probably won't, but I hear. I think looking at the 3 sets or the Demon two, or the Alcaraz 2-1 here, I think those are the plays.
What's the over under? Is it 19 and a half or 20?
No, I think it's like 21, 20. No, maybe
Oof.
I think it's like 20 and a half. 21.
Oh, forget that. Yeah. That's a terrible line.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the Alcaraz over 12 and a half?
That's probably playable.
Is that plus money? Because if it's plus money, I'm definitely playing that.
No, it's minus 120.
Ah, okay, forget it. All right. I'll decide between the 3 sets or the Alcaraz 2-1, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna play.
I hear you. I think like that's where I was looking. Like,
Yeah. All right, and the last match is Feast and Sissipas.
yep.
So I bet Feast pre-tournament to win the quarter at 3-1 because he was second favorite to Sissipas. I believe Sissipas was plus 230 or plus 225 pre-tournament to win the quarter. So I doubt that the book has, kept those same prices, like because if you go based on those pre-tournament prices, Sissipas would probably be like a minus 150-ish favorite.
Yeah.
But based on how good Feast has looked and the matchup profile between these two guys, I probably put it like pure pick is where I
Where do
think
you put Feast on clay?
I put him, I would say a little bit above Fokina right now.
Okay. I actually would put him top 10.
Top 10 on clay. Okay.
Yeah. I think slow clay is really good for him. He's got the power and the explosiveness to hit through the court.
Yep.
He's got the physicality to get through rallies. I mean, obviously it's mental with him mostly, right? And I do feel like the backhand's a lot better. I feel like he's clean,
It
like
is
he's
better.
improving.
He is. He is improving.
I think he's a very he's I've been very impressed with the past 2 months from him.
Yep, me too.
Um,
Me too.
yeah, I mean, I'm trying to. I
So,
mean, I.
so what's the line?
Oh, my bad. So, what is your guess?
Pick them.
Okay, close. Feast is a 1 game favorite. Or no, actually now it's down to a half a game favorite. I don't know why they even have a half a game favorite. I'm not really sure what that is, what that's about, but whatever. The money line is -120 for Feast, and
Okay,
the
so
and
pretty good.
you can get Tsitsipas at even money.
So I definitely got the good side of it having that 3-1 futures ticket.
What?
I definitely got a good price on him getting that
Yeah,
3 to
so
1.
I have a 2.5 to 1. So not as good of a price as you, but I have a 2.5. I also have a Feast to win the event at 16.
Me too. Me too. I have that too. Yeah.
I think I think that's it. Like, if there's a guy that can beat Alcaraz, like it's
Yeah.
Feast.
And he's not scared. We talked about it before. Like
Yeah, he's not scared. Yeah.
he might let a couple match points go or a couple crucial break points go,
I
but
mean, he might bomb his well, he might bomb himself out of the match. You know what I mean? He
right,
still is prone to playing poorly, but it's not gonna be because he was tentative.
right, right. At that price, I'm still leaning feast. Like I don't want to take Sissipas at even money.
Yeah, man, I agree. Both of them have a service points, return points one of on clay this year of 109. I'm gonna pull up.
So if you put feast top 10 on clay, like you where do you put Sissipas?
You know, it's really close. I might actually put him. This is insane. I put them both at the same tier. I put them both between 5 and 10 on clay.
Okay, so Alcaraz 1, Sinner 2.
Alcaraz 1, Sinner 2, Zverev 3. Um, and then it gets tough. Then I've got kind of one tier with Djokovic, Rude, Feast, Djokovic, Rude, Feast, and Tsitsipas are a tier for me. And
Yeah,
I'd probably rank them like that.
but if you're looking at like right now in terms of form, like
So right now you'd probably slide Djokovic down, so he's probably in the 4 to 6.
yeah. I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, do you put Musetti in that mix because
No, I
made the
don't. Musetti
final?
to me is a level below those guys.
Okay,
He just doesn't have like the doesn't
weapons,
have the top end game.
right? Yeah, I mean, I still think also Tsitsipas is vulnerable because his backhand is just
Well, I mean, so that's the thing,
still
right?
could
Like
be
these guys are
rushed.
probably pretty close to even, just as pure clay court, slow clay court players. It's probably pretty close to even. But I think this is a really good match for Feast, and I think it's a bad matchup for Tsitsipas player profile wise.
Agreed.
Like
Agreed.
Feast has the like I think Tsitsipas really struggles when he gets pushed back on clay. Like
Yeah.
it's not so much he's going to make errors, but if he gets pushed back behind the baseline, that's not good for him. Now Feast isn't as good at finishing those points. I think he still could get better at moving into the net. I think, and I
Yeah.
think he doesn't really hit the drop shot. I think often enough, but
Like if Tsitsipas was playing as Zverev on clay, I'd probably back Tsitsipas. But since he's playing Feast, who's just like all out aggression all the time, like I think that I agree with you. It's a really, really tough matchup.
yeah, I would disagree there on Zverev, but I hear your point.
Okay. I mean, Tsitsipas has gotten the better of Zverev on clay in the past.
Yeah, I know.
So because Zverev is a passive-ish player, right? Like,
Sometimes the problem with Zverev is like trying to figure out like he's better when he's aggressive. The problem is figuring out will he be? It's like the should versus will.
his instincts tell him to be passive, right? Like
Yeah,
that's what he's most comfortable with. Whereas with
yep.
Feast is most comfortable with is just all out aggression, and I feel like he
Correct.
needs to tone it back. But I think
Yep,
that profile is tougher for Sissipas to deal with,
I agree. But yeah,
right?
I actually like, to me, this is wide enough here. I actually like Feast on the money line at -120. To me, it's just barely. I probably wouldn't play it in anything worse than this.
Is it
I think
GBM?
this opened at -130. I was a stay away when it opened, but I think with it dropping to -120, I think now it's GBM. Yeah,
Let's do it. Let's do it.
yeah,
Got a lot riding on it. We got 16-1 outrights. We got the futures, the quarter price. I put
yeah.
2 units on 3-1.
Okay,
So
yeah, one.
okay. All right, cool. Cool. Interesting.
Yeah.
But
Let's take a
fees
quick 1 minute break, and then I gotta go get my my laptop charger and plug my laptop in, and then we'll do Munich.
sounds good. Welcome back to the show, everyone. So we're done with Barcelona. Let's head over to Munich.
Yeah. So just getting my bets in here. Always important to get the bets placed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, lest I forget. Um,
So what are your bets in Barcelona? Just to recap, it's
the the Rude 2-1 at +285,
okay.
and I am going with the GBM play, the Feast money line
He's money
at
line. Okay.
-120.
So I'm on the feast money line. I'm on the Rude Rune 3 sets at +125. I'm laying the juice with Fokina -2.5. It's moved to 3, but I still like the 2.5 more that I think about it. I just have no faith in Kachanov, so I'm gonna lay the -135 juice, but I'm gonna still play it. And then I'm gonna do 2 plays on the Outgrass match. I'm gonna do the 3 sets at +180, and then I'm gonna do the LWW on the Demonor to win the first set and Alcaraz to win the match at +600.
Yeah, I feel like it's what that's I prefer that. If I was gonna play the Alcaraz, I'd play the 2-1. I think it's pretty close. I think you can make a case for it. I don't hate the LWW. I think it's still, I think is if you're, yeah, I think it's not that much worse than the 2-1. I just don't like. I think Alcaraz could completely spray the second set. Like
Yeah, yeah.
there's no, like, he could
It's a
spray
price
either.
play. I agree.
All right, the first match in Munich, Cerundolo against Goffin.
Oof. So Cerundolo to me is another guy that's top 10 on clay right now.
Yeah, I've got him like kind of in his own tier, right below that tier that we talked about before, that 4 to 7 tier.
Okay, so right now, who do you put above? Do you put Rublev above Cerundolo or below?
No,
You put Cerundolo ahead.
yes, but it's, yeah.
Okay.
I was really, really, really disappointed by Rublev today. The fact that he got out hit, like, I don't care that he lost. I care that he was getting out hit. 'Cause if he's getting out hit, what else does he do?
Yeah, you're right.
He has to smash the ball. That's unless he's going to develop a game that doesn't involve. I mean, he can play smart, right? He doesn't have to bash every ball, but he has to out hit the other player.
Yeah. Who
Uneven
you
footing.
put Musetti ahead of Cerundolo on clay?
No, but he's probably 1 tier below.
So
And that
so you
kind of
put
take
Cerundolo ahead of Musetti or Cerundolo below?
no, Cerundolo ahead.
Okay.
That's why I think he is top 10. I think he's, well, no, maybe not. I kind of put him in a tier. I would put him in a tier with Holger, probably, if I had to. Maybe Holger's a tick above, but that's my next tier, is like Holger Rune in 8 and 9, I think.
Okay. I put Cerundolo slightly ahead of Rune, obviously. I put Cerundolo ahead of Holger and slightly below Casper.
And where do Feast and Tsitsipas fit there?
I put Sissipas slightly above Rude. And I put Feast slightly above Sissipas.
So you got Feast top 5 then.
Yes. Right now. But
It's
just
I'm gonna say we made that bet that I did win on the Feast not being top 10 by the end of last
yeah,
year. But
you
like you
wouldn't
were
make it
right from a
now.
tennis perspective.
Yeah,
You just like I don't think you realized how hard it is to make the top 10.
probably. Yeah,
But you weren't wrong in terms of like the projection of the talent, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. That's true. I wasn't that far off. I guess it's beginning of the year.
Yeah, no, and I think you were like, I think it was very good from I think the tennis view was good. It's just like the view of rankings and like what it takes to fall
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
Like
You're
similarly, honestly, to your view of Rublev. Like Rublev is right now 22nd in the race.
yeah.
And
And he has a
play
ton
is
of
usually he makes headway. Like you had said he'd be out of the top 20 by the end of the year.
yeah.
It's possible. I still don't think he will be, but it's possible.
Well, for the race, it doesn't matter what he does in Madrid. I mean, his ranking is going to probably plummet, you know, after
No,
Madrid.
this is the rank. This is the race. I'm saying the race to turn.
Right, right. It doesn't
So
matter for that,
so it
but
doesn't like so points are points, right? You're just accruing points.
right, right.
In terms of his actual ATP rank, yeah, I agree. It'll obviously drop after Madrid because
Yeah.
he's lapping a title.
Yeah, I just Feast, the thing with him is that very, very, very few guys can match his firepower, with the exception of I would say Alcaraz, Sinner, and probably Zverev, just because his like length and backhand is so
Yeah,
good, right? But
yeah,
like those are really the only three guys from a just a ball striking perspective can really deal with him,
yeah.
you know? So I don't know. It's just it's like putting very minor things together for him, right?
Right. Oh, like if you want to talk about like potential, a
Yeah.
1000% yes. You know what I mean? I value Rude's consistency. I feel like he like even off the backhand, he makes balls.
Yeah, but against Feast, does it like if you would play Feast, I think it would be really, really problematic. And that's why I give Feast a slight edge.
Yeah, I
It's
don't know. I
like,
mean, even against guys with a lot of firepower, when Rude has that topspin forehand working, it really kicks up and it's a hard ball to hit. Like I feel like he can draw errors just because that ball. Like it also kind of depends. Like if it's a sunny day, right? That would help. Like there's a lot of factors if you're talking
yeah,
about these.
I'm hoping they play sometime. I want to see that
But
matchup.
anyways, getting back to Cerundolo
Yeah,
golf fan, but I agree with that. I
yeah,
think Cerundolo's a top 10 clay player. As crazy as that
I agree.
sounds.
I agree. Um, I mean, Cerullo has to be a big favorite. I think also GoFan. I think there's a fatigue element here coming back. You know, playing a long three setter with Navoni, like that's a physical comeback and match.
But was it really that long? I mean, one of the sets was 6-love, one of the sets was 6-1.
Yeah, but it's GoFan. Like he has to dig in on every point. I think it's I
The
don't know.
match time was 2:14. He actually went longer with Billy Harris in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably put Cerundolo like a 4 game favorite, 4.5, like in that area.
It's 5.
Wow. Okay. Is it juiced 5?
It's a pretty flat 5.
Okay.
So going through the line, Cerundolo -5 is -120. Golfan, if you want to take the 5 games, it's -110. -500 on the money line for Dolo, plus 375 for Golfan, which I think is pretty crappy. Over unders 20, which kind of makes sense.
Mhm. Oof. It seems like a stay away, honestly. I might just ride my Dolo 4-1, 14-1 to win the event.
Yeah.
Do you have any features on Dolo?
Nope. Nope. My futures are dead here. I had Lehecka, who didn't even play the
Yeah.
tournament. And I took a shot on Yari at 20-1. That did not work out. That was a bad move. The
Yeah,
idea with the altitude to
Yari's
play
stuff.
with the weather being warmer in Munich this week than previous years. But they do kind of try to slow this tournament down. It's
Yeah,
like a thicker play. Like there's altitude, but they really try to slow this tournament down. And Yari's just not there. Like that was a bad pick.
yeah.
I deserve to lose that unit. Like that was a bad pick.
Yeah.
And the heck is so frustrating because I bet it at like 1 o'clock in the morning, like 3 hours later, he withdrew. And I was just like, you got to be kidding
Yeah,
me.
it's frustrating. I mean, I didn't think he should have been second favorite to Shelton in that quarter. Like that just made no sense. I actually put 2 units on him to win the quarter there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Dolo, he's just been really good this year. He's been really, really impressive, and he's been winning matches easily. So like I can see where the book gets 5. Um, there's no I don't want to back Fan in any capacity here, even though
I
like
just don't know. Like, so something to keep in mind. I do want to call out to the viewers. So Munich has been warm this week, so it's been playing faster. But tomorrow, the weather is overcast and the high is 52 Fahrenheit.
yeah,
For those of you who are Celsius fans, it's about 8 degrees or 10 degrees Celsius, 10 to 11 Celsius.
it's pretty cool. It's gonna be slow tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think it's advantage Dolo.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like I don't see like I just like it's tough because do I think the golf fans really 5 games worse? Man, 5 games is a lot, but like if it's slow and playing heavy, like what does the golf fan do to win games?
Yeah, what's the Dolo 2-0? I mean, I'm sure you're laying
I
juice,
think it
but
was minus 150 last I checked.
it's actually
It's
not
probably
bad.
moved out a little bit because I think money's come for Dolo.
It's actually not bad.
It's now out to minus 175.
Mm. What's the Dolo under 12.5?
That is minus 135.
I was hoping to get like minus 105 there, and that would probably be a play. Yeah, I'm just gonna ride my futures here. I'm not gonna play anything.
Yeah, I understand that take. I understand that take. I think it's a
I like what I'm seeing from Dolo. Like, obviously he's impressed me this year, and I backed him in Miami, and like he's been really good, but laying 5 and you know being that big of a favorite is it's just it's risky.
there's not a whole lot of margin for error when somebody's a five
Yeah.
game favorite.
And like we saw him, like he got broken opening game against Shevchenko today. Like it's not like
Yeah.
he's still prone to making some mistakes.
Yeah, I don't really know how great Dolo's really been. I mean, if you look at his wins, Shevchenko, a Struff that didn't show up, Fognini, those are the clay wins. The Miami run was very, very impressive.
Hmm.
Um, the Indian Wells run, yes, he beat Demoner. That was very impressive, and he was competitive with Alcaraz. Very, very impressive. His other wins were Mackey. He easily could have lost to Mackey, and Bodic, which is decent. He did beat Bodic pretty good. I mean, he's been playing really well, really, really well for him. If you go back to the Golden Swing, he beat Hoffman, Echeverry, Darderi, Gaston, Pedro, Zverev, Juanman, his brother, and Darderi again, and lost to Fonseca, Mueller, and Jere. Like that's okay. It's not amazing.
Yeah, but it's consistent deep runs, right? In these tournaments.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
I mean, I did say he's playing at
impressive.
a top 10 clay level. So like
Yeah, I know. I know.
it just feels like it doesn't, I don't know, doesn't feel like he should be top 10. But I can't find 10 guys better?
Yeah, I agree. You go down
Like
the rankings and you're like, nah, 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 and then
I know Tidbit says this a lot. And I feel like it can't be true, but for whatever reason, it just feels like the tour is weak, man. Like I just feel like I feel kind of surprised sometimes when I go down, like on clay and grass, when I go down the rankings, like, and I'm like, yeah, that guy, no, that guy, no, that guy, no. And then, like, you know,
half the guys are winning, half the guys are losing, right? Like,
that's the thing, right? That still exists, maybe it's the
yeah,
deeper score? I don't know, but it just feels like Cerundolo, like to be talking about Cerundolo as a top 10 player on clay doesn't feel right.
His forehand is world class though. His forehand is
No, but still, like I guess, right? Fernando Gonzalez was top 10. Fernando Verdasco was top 10. They were kind of pretty much just forehand with decent serves. So, like, I guess maybe.
yeah, I think he's a little slightly underrated mover. I think he's added a little bit to his serve. I don't know. I agree with you in the sentiment that the tour is weak, but I also respect Dolo, I think, a little bit more than you.
Okay, okay. Like I mean, like I said, I think he's in the top 10 on clay, so I don't think he's
Yeah.
that bad. Like, it just doesn't sit well with me. It just feels like he's, I don't know. Like I want my top 10 players to be more like, I don't know,
Okay.
more world class. I mean, like
More like Rublev.
if they're just gonna be ground strokers, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, but Dolo's actually not that bad at transitioning to the net. He's capable of it.
He's capable.
Yeah.
He's not Rublev. He's not catching off. Yeah, I guess.
So you put Demonor above or below Cerundolo?
Below. Below.
Okay.
But not far below, right? Like I think your 10 to 15 tier is going to include Musetti, Demoner. That's like
And Fokina slightly below Musetti, you said, right?
right, yeah, yeah. I think for me, like Fokina, sorry, not Fokina. I think for me that tier would be like Musetti, Demoner. I'd probably put Fritz there. I know that's not gonna be a popular pick, but I feel like at some point he's just good at the sport of tennis. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Well, when the French Open gets closer, like when we're
We'll
in
do,
the
we'll play
April, we'll
power
do
rankings. That's
actually
really
true
interesting.
clay court power rankings. Like,
That should be really interesting.
yeah,
I feel like the clay ones are always really fun because they don't necessarily go with like the world tour rankings.
right, right.
Grass just gets hokey because I have no idea ever what to do on grass. So they just don't play
Yeah,
on
and
it
there's
enough.
just so few tournaments, so it's really hard. But
Yeah.
clay, there's like a good sample size of matches where we can really evaluate these guys.
And you can actually evaluate like short term versus long term
It's
versus
good.
who's a good tennis player versus who's a clay quarter. Yeah.
Yeah, clay court power rankings are awesome. All right, so what's the next match?
So we're both stay away here, right?
Yeah.
Um, Next match is Darderi and Shelton.
Ooh. So I think Shelton has been way overvalued in this tournament. Not against Bodic, but like from a futures perspective, I think like to be 8-1 to win this event and to be the favorite to win the quarter when like Lechko was in there, like just didn't make sense. Um Darderi has been impressive. He won in, I believe it was Marrakech, right?
Marrakesh, yeah.
Beat Griekspoor in the final. I think he had a challenger final the week before
In
that. So
Naples, yeah.
like, right?
Yep.
So he's been good. He's picked it up. He's actually pretty mentally strong, honestly. Like at a different level than those guys we were talking about before, but like relative to his
Agree.
level,
Relative to his contemporaries, I agree.
yeah, I feel like he kind of rises to the occasion. And like I put Shelton in that tier, like where um
On clay, right? Just
yeah,
to clarify.
on clay, yeah. So I probably put Darderi as a very small favorite here. I probably put him like minus. I think it's similar to that Fee Sissipas line. It's probably minus 120, maybe Shelton plus 110.
You're pretty close.
Okay.
So Darderi's a game and a half favorite. Both are at minus 115.
Okay.
Minus 150 on the money line versus plus 125 for Shelton.
Wow.
Over
Okay.
under 23 and a half.
I actually think the set one over 12 and a half might be enticing here. Like set one tiebreak. Will you
I
get
think it's gonna be
like
plus
plus?
250 or so.
It's not bad.
230.
That's not good. What's the 10 and a half?
160.
You see the over half a tiebreak or like over, yeah, over one tiebreak and over 1.5.
Over half a tiebreak plus 110. Over 1.5 tiebreaks plus 750.
Now you're talking. I kind of like that over half a tiebreak and plus 110. Like that's actually decent. Yeah, I think I'm gonna play that at plus money because both guys are good
Tiebreak
competitors.
at plus 110. Yeah, I hear you.
Um,
Mm.
the problem is it's slow, so I don't think plus 230 is quite good enough on like a single set. But like I also think like both guys are gonna dig in, so I don't think like a set two tiebreak is like less likely or more likely than a first set tiebreak. So I don't know. If Shelton moves down to like plus 130, like I hate backing Shelton on clay, but I might have to.
Yeah, neither of these guys has the best return game on clay, huh? On
No.
any surface, really.
Yeah.
Um,
But then again, if it's really slow, and like kind of heavy, I actually favor Darderi in those conditions. Because I think
how
Darderi's
much
a little
that
bit
matters? Like,
around.
I mean, I don't know how much that matters, man. Like,
Because then Shelton's kick serve doesn't do as much, right? And then I felt like against Gojo, like Shelton really struggled when Gojo got the serve back. Like he didn't know what to do in rallies. And like Darderi is kind of like a better version of Gojo.
okay.
They're actually similar players, but like Darderi is just way better. So I'm torn because I think the line is right. Like when I at first I was like Shelton is too short. But now thinking about it with the conditions and thinking about their player profiles, I think it's accurate. I think it's a good
Yeah,
line.
I really wish that the weather was warmer. I wish it wasn't 50 degrees and cloudy tomorrow. Otherwise, I'd be on the overs. I completely agree with you, but I really don't like that weather tomorrow. Um, yeah, I mean, this opened, this got down to minus 130. Actually, at one point, Darderi got all the way down on Pinnacle to minus 120. Um, that would have been more appetizing to me. Now, with it moving it back to minus 150 on Bovada, minus 143 on Pinnacle right now.
I
Um,
actually think if you want to play Darderi, just lay the 1.5.
I agree,
Because like Shelton can't break really.
but I'll have a better chance on slow play. Like like
But so will
he's
Darderi.
got a good serve, but like Shelton, I don't know. He should be like, I don't know, man.
Is the 1.5 like minus 110?
115.
Do you like the over half a tiebreak?
No, this weather. Like
Yeah.
I feel like what was Shelton VDZ was plus 285, right? For the first set tiebreak.
Right.
I get it. Darderi is a better serve. That's why you're getting 50 cents less. But you're talking about like a 70-degree sunny day versus now you're going to 50 and cloudy.
Yeah, but they also both broke in that set.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you are right. Like, it is an even match, which kind of like makes you like a tiebreak a little bit more. So I get it. I think it's an okay look.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna play that the over half a tiebreak. That's gonna be my bet there. I'm thinking about the 1.5 honestly with Darderi, but I'm hoping that moves to like 1, and then like I can get like, minus 105 with the minus 1.5. Like that would be a better look. Like I'm right at the buy point, but it's tough. I was thinking about Shelton, but the conditions are really like taking me off Shelton.
I agree.
So, all right, next match.
Zverev and Greek sport.
Oof. Um, man, this is this is tough. I don't know if I want to back Greek sport again in one of these spots. Like I've had so much success doing it, and like I feel like I'm just gonna get burned one of these times, and he's just gonna lose like 3-3 at some point. Um, I feel like the books are going to get, or the market's going to give Greek sport a little bit more respect here, and I would say Greek sport might be like a plus 200 favorite as opposed to like the plus 250s and that you were getting in Miami and Indian Wells.
Just give me a second here. So what do you think it is?
Like plus 200, maybe like 3.5 or 3 in that range.
It's 3.25.
Okay.
So it's a juice 3.5. Yeah, juice 3.5 minus 130 for Greek sport, even money for Zverev if you want the 3.5 games. Um, actually, wait, that's yep. Greek sports plus 275 on the money line. Zverev minus
Ooh.
350. Over under 22.5, but it's very juiced. It's actually really more like 23.
I mean, at 275, I think I'm going to have to take a stab at Greek sport on the money line.
Popcorn tennis. Popcorn.
Really?
Uh,
No way. Okay.
I am on Zverev. I'm gonna be, or I'm planning to be on Zverev with the laying the 3.5. I actually found a plus money at Bet Online. I think I found a plus 105 or plus 110. Where is it right now? Yeah, plus 107 for laying the 3.5.
Okay.
That's what I'm on. I'm pulling something up here real quick. So I feel like there's a lot made of this of the Greek sport Zverev head to head and how close it's been.
Mhm.
Um, but I just don't really think that's the case. So in the last 2 years, they've played 6 times. Um, Zverev's 5-1 in those 6 matches. Yes, Greek sport was up 2 breaks in the fifth at Roland Garros.
He got him in
All
Indian.
6 of the matches have featured a tiebreak. At least one tiebreak. 2 of the matches have featured multiple tiebreaks. Greeksport won the last one at Indian Wells. But what concerns me is if you look at the and I'm pulling it up so I can pull up all the stats here. So give me a minute. But the stats are not as kind to Greeksport. Zverev in service points won, return points won, has the edge 106-94. So pretty good edge there. I guess I'm just pulling this up. Takes a minute. I had it up. I dug into this one for a while because I do remember Zverev actually commenting that like Greeksport always plays top 10 tennis against him. But I think that might be why this line is what it is. I also really like this. I really like these conditions for Zverev. Like I think like if this was warmer conditions, I wouldn't play this at 3.5. But I think the conditions here are worth half a game at least, if not more.
All right, that's fair. That's a good point.
Yeah, I'm just like I said, I'm just pulling up these stats. I think it's interesting. It's interesting in my mind the difference between the stats and kind of what people would say about it, right? In terms of the head to head.
Yeah.
Because so Greek sport does have a win on the head to head in early 2023, but that's when like Zverev was like almost losing to like JP
That was
Varia.
Rotterdam, right?
It was Rotterdam 2023, yeah. But Zverev was not himself at that time, at least not in my opinion. So I've thrown that one out. But oh, that's not right. All right, I got it. So yeah, I already gave you the serve points one, return points one. On first serve points, Zverev has won 74% of first serve points versus 71. 71% of first serve points won is pretty average for the tour. Like it's not, it's actually, I think like 30, we would place him like 35th or 40th out of the top 50. It's not particularly for a guy who has a good of a serve and attacking him as Greaseboard does. Winning 71% of first serve points is not amazing. Zverev
Sure.
has won the second serve considerably. 55 for Zverev, actually 57 versus 48 for Griekspoor, which 48 is quite poor off the second serve. Um, so yeah, I just feel like
Yeah, I mean you're certainly talking me off of that. Like, but to me the over 20, the juiced over 22 and a half and the money line doesn't really correlate.
yeah, I agree. I feel like
Like
the over
usually if you're getting plus
23
275 on the
feels
money
high to
line,
me.
it would
What?
be like a 21, right? Or a 20
I'm
or
not
something.
21, but I feel like 22 or 22 and a half. Yeah. The 23 feels high to me. I agree.
So I mean it's not like it would be like a 2 unit play. It's just like I feel like 275 given how despite the stats, right? Like the scoring has been, it doesn't really match. Like I feel like it just has some value. Like I think like a plus 215 or 220 would be a more appropriate line for the money line. Like I would never take the 3.5 games. I think that's a really, really dumb bet. You know, I don't know. I think that that money line price of 275 is just it's enticing.
I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like this is a case where there's a narrative on Greeks for like, and I agree, like he plays guys tough, like, but I feel like there's a narrative here that he's again, like I'll go back, so I'll go to this. So since the beginning of 2024 versus the top 10, like people talk about how Greek sport plays the top guys tough. I feel like that's a narrative with Greek sport. I don't know if you'd
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, I agree. It's a narrative.
So Greek sport is 4-15 in matches versus the top 10.
How many times has he won a
Beginning of
set?
24. He's won a set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 of those 19 times. But his serve points won and turn points won are quite bad. It's at 91, 63% serve points won, which is not particularly special.
But also
28%
a
turn
lot
points.
of those sets won were against the upper echelon of the top 10, like the top five. Like he did it twice against Sinner. He's taken a set off Zverev multiple times. Like I think he's taken a set off Medvedev as well, if I'm remembering
Well, he
correctly.
beat Medvedev this year.
That's not saying much.
Yeah, that's the only time he's played Medvedev
Okay.
in the past 2 years. Um,
But like taking sets off Holger Rune, when Casper Ruud and then Demonor and Tsitsipas is different than taking
well, he
sets off
beat
Sinner.
Casper Ruud, but he beat Casper Ruud on indoor hard.
Okay, all right,
Like
that's
that's kind of where I'm getting to the 3.5 for from is like I'm just not convinced that Greeks poor. I feel like there's a narrative on Greeks poor that's a little inaccurate in terms of it being like very good against top 10 guys. So he seems to be able to force like one tiebreak per match. And you know, and like, you know, and then sometimes win a set. And then on top of it, like if this was anywhere else, I would agree with you. I would be on the Greeks poor side of this. But we're putting Greeks poor in
probably
like
his worst conditions, right? Like in
yeah.
turn,
I mean Barcelona is
cloudy,
worse, right?
damp,
But like
cold, and like slow.
yeah, cold. I mean, there's still altitude, so this
A
serve will
little
get
bit.
some help. But like, you know, if the serve comes back, like I just don't like. Yeah, I don't know.
What's Greek sport to win a set? And what's the over half a tiebreak?
So ironically, here the crazy thing, like that's why I don't like. That's why there's like there's a narrative really here towards like there's going to be a lot of holds because
Yeah. Okay.
set one over 10.5 games is plus 150, which
Yeah.
is below the Darderi. That's worse than the Darderi Shelton match, which doesn't make
That
sense to
makes
me.
sense. No sense. I agree.
Um, and Greek sport to win a set here is minus money. So it's
Wow.
close to even, minus 115.
So
So
the
for a clay,
spread, the money line, the game, the over under on games, and the sets, they're all like they're not priced. They
they're
don't
telling you that
correlate.
like telling you that we think that like 6-4-7-6 or like 6-7-5-7-6 are like these likely things.
Yeah, I don't think
Over
so.
half a tiebreak is minus 120. Like
Minus 120. Ugh.
on clay and damp conditions, like
Yeah.
I feel like the weather is not baked in here enough. I feel like and maybe I'm wrong to do this, but I feel like the game scores for Greek sport are being baked in more than the underlying stats. And again, like we're putting him on his worst conditions. Like I would completely get this if you weren't putting him on slow clay, or not slow clay, but like I know there's altitude, but I think like it's already. I feel like Munich already tries to slow the tournament down, and now you're going to put it in cold weather, which is going to slow
I think we
this.
were having the same discussion before the French Open match, and I believe it was kind of rainy and slow as well that day as well. And we were
Yeah,
both on the Zverev side, and look what happened.
I know, but that's one match, right? Like I can't get too fired up about one match. Like especially when I look at the head to head over 6 matches, and Zverev's had a decided edge.
Yeah. No, I hear you. You're definitely taking me off the Greek sport side because I was gonna look more at the plus 1.5 sets, you know, over 2.5 sets. Like I was looking more at that, and now I'm just like, if I'm gonna play Greek sport, I'm just gonna play the two plus 275 money line and call it.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I guess if you want to talk up the Greek sports side, like Zverev does have a hard time winning pretty. He does have a tendency to get passive. Like if he gets passive, then all of a sudden Greek sports is a tough matchup for him.
I know, I know.
So like I'm counting on Zverev to play well, but Zverev has played well the first 2 matches. Not just score wise, but I thought he looked good against Muller, man. I
Yeah,
thought
and Altmaier. Yeah, I backed both of those guys to do something against Zverev, but to no avail. Um, what's the three sets here?
that should be better given what this pricing is like. That should be like plus 150, but I'm gonna give you a read here. 3 sets plus 150.
Yeah, that's not bad. I just have a very hard time. Like Greek Sport's not winning this. He's not winning this 2-0. Like, there's no way. If he wins this, it's gonna be like 7-6 in the third. You know?
Yeah.
So, and what do you get for Greek Sport? 2-1?
Strong plus 450. No, I misread that. Plus 600.
Yeah. See, okay, that I'll probably play that actually instead of the plus 275. That's gonna be a play for me. And I'm thinking about three sets, but I'm gonna play the Greek Sport 2-1.
Okay. Okay.
Because I
Okay. Yeah.
also think like if Zverev just outplays him and like the conditions are just way better for Zverev, like I think your bet comes through and he wins like pretty comfortably, like 3-4 kind of thing, right? But I think if Griekspoor finds a way to get a set and he makes this match complicated, that has to be because Zverev is being passive. Because that's his only
Right.
way,
I think your take is right on that. Yeah, I
right?
agree.
And then that's where I want to have that sit plus 600 in my back pocket because I think if it gets deep into a third set tiebreak, I actually trust Griekspoor mentally just as much as Zverev at this present moment.
I don't like this Zverev 2-1. I agree with you there.
Okay.
Because I agree with you. I think like, and I feel like Zverev, once he gets passive, has a hard time getting out of it.
Agreed. Agreed.
Like he's just not like he's not good at that part of the mental game. His tactics are fine. Well, actually, but not even, right? Like actually, no, it's like not tactics, it's just wimpiness. He's just a wimp.
He's a wimp.
Like,
In all senses of the word, he's a wimp.
yeah.
You know what? I'm actually gonna play both bets. It's not gonna be popcorn tennis anymore. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna play. You talked me into the 3.5, but I'm also gonna play the Greek Sport 2-1.
That's an interesting take because I kind of agree with you. I feel like those are the right bets. Like I feel like this is
Okay.
either Zverev shows up like
Yep, and
with the
wins
right
this
set
comfortably.
and he wins comfortably, or Greek sport, or he doesn't show up and all of a sudden this is this crazy dogfight.
Yep. Right. Yeah. All right. I'm glad we talked about that match because I don't think I would have had those takes. I probably would have done the +1.5 sets, the Greek Sport money line, like the classic,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
talking about it kind of led me to to those bets, and I think those are the right angles. So,
I agree with you. I think the 2-1 Greek sport is really interesting.
mhm.
Um
All right, and then the last match in Munich.
the last match of the day is pull it up. I have gone into looking at the specifics of the Zverev match. Oh, Meyershon against Bergs.
Hmm. Um, this is tough. I'm thinking this is pretty close to pick.
Fabi is a -1.5 game favorite, so -120 for Fabi on the money line or on the spread. +1.5 if you want Zizou at -110, -145 on the money line if you want Fabi versus +120 for Zizou. Over under your neutral 22.5.
You know me, I only like playing Bergs as a dog. Um, I think Bergs is a bit more consistent, and I think Fabian has more weapons. Um, obviously. I tend to lean towards the more consistent guys in these kind of slower conditions. So I'm probably going to play Bergs on the money line at +120.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I
Really?
like this to me. If there was a match where like you just want to look at the club, the plus, like I don't even want to watch it. I just want to like just like plus
Yeah.
money and like go away. Like just find the plus button, click the plus button, and go away. Like I just feel like these are two guys with pretty wide ranges, especially Fabian. But I think both these guys have pretty wide ranges in terms of the level they play at. I
Yeah.
also, when it comes to Marjan, there's a few guys like this. I don't really care how they played the day before.
Yeah. I agree with that. 100%. Yeah,
Like,
it's very match to match with him. It's not
yeah,
this match is no indicator how he's going to play on that day.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean there are other guys like that. I actually think Arnaldi is kind of like that.
I think Arnaldi's more of a matchup dependent guy.
Yeah, okay. You're right. It's a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Um,
ZZ is like that. Although he's been really down lately, so that maybe he's lost that
yeah.
status. Poprin's a little bit like that.
Yep.
I feel like these guys who just like try to play like big bomber tennis, but don't like but don't have like the I don't know, have like the low floors tend to be this way a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Marjan is a clear example. I mean, Bublik is another one, right? Like it doesn't
But
matter.
Bublik is different. Bublik, it's just like
Yeah.
Bublik is just more like it's more like mental and motivation and like yeah.
Right. Yeah, you know who I've been surprised that we haven't seen this clay court swing is Fonseca.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, is he hurt?
I don't know if he's hurt. He may have chosen to take time off. I don't know. I think it's quite wise if he did. I can't remember what his playing schedule was. I think it might have been a pre-planned break. I think I read
Yeah,
that
and
somewhere.
we were talking about how it's we didn't think he would do it, but we actually thought it was a good idea for him. I remember talking about it on the last
Yeah.
pod.
And I think I read that. I think I read that he did do that.
Okay.
Um,
Smart.
which I think is brilliant.
Yeah, I do. I think so too.
I'm assuming he'll be back. I'm assuming he'll come back for. I mean, he'll
Yeah,
have
he
to
probably
because he's
should.
ranked in the top 80 now. It's a mandatory for him to play Madrid and Rome, so I'm imagining he'll play those.
Yeah. But he's a guy with how weak the tour is, based on what we were saying. Like, I mean, he could crack that top 15 mold on clay pretty soon.
Okay.
I mean, give it a year, right? Like if we're if
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. In a year, yes,
right?
100%. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My question was, is he there yet? Yeah, in
No.
a year, yeah, yeah.
Unless he makes like the quarters or semis of Madrid, right? Like,
Even if he does that, I don't know. I mean, maybe I would have if he got to the like if he made like quarters or semis of Rome, but yeah.
yeah. Yeah. All right. So Munich, we have so what are our plays?
Is Zizou GBM?
Why not? Why not?
All
Let's
right,
we haven't had many GBM plays this week, so let's
all
do it.
right. So we'll have two GBM plays.
Yeah. East money line and Zizou money line.
Yeah,
So you're just playing Zverev minus 3.5.
yeah, yeah.
Are you thinking about joining me on the Greek Sport 2-1?
No, no. I
Okay.
like the look, but it's not like a. It's not a play to me. I just like the look.
Okay. All right. And then I'm leaning the Darderi minus 1.5, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm probably gonna play the over half a tiebreak though at plus money. It's probably gonna be play. And
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna be on that. The Sheldon Dare, I don't really have any interest in. I think that's. I would have a lot more interest if it wasn't like gonna be. Yeah, it's not gonna be mud slow, right? Like it'll the altitude will still help, but it won't be as fast as it's been previous days, right? So,
right,
and to
right.
me, that makes the difference when we're talking about like, like a few percentage points on the tiebreak. Because like, I don't think it's a terrible play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the weather puts me off it.
Well, the
But
weather actually puts me more towards Darderi.
what?
The weather actually puts me more towards Darderi.
Yeah, I would agree. I think if I had to play that, I would play Darderi, but
Yeah.
I think that's pretty close. Like, um, but yeah, then I like the 2+ money bets. So Zverev minus 3.5, that's a plus 107 on Bet Online.
Okay.
And then I'm playing the Zizou money line, which is a plus 125 on Bet Online.
Okay. And we're both off Dolo Go fan.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're both off the logo fan. Yeah. So
All right, cool. Interesting day.
fun slate though. Fun
So
preview, man.
far.
This was a great discussion. I know we went long with this one, but like this was a great I mean the 2 hours was a long pot of previews and we still have a recap to go, but yeah, it was a good
Well, it's getting really late and it's only 4 hours till match time, so I want to get this pod out. Let's do just a very like quick recap. Just like what were your thoughts on Monte Carlo? Um, and like what we've seen this week. I think we
yeah,
can.
honestly, like we talked about a lot of the stuff. I mean, I was gonna bring
Right.
up Rublev, but we already talked about that.
The
Um,
recap was kind of like baked into the preview.
yeah. I mean, it was a good run from Musetti, but I'm not particularly impressed by the Musetti run at Monte Carlo. Like
I'm not
it's
impressed from a tennis perspective. I'm impressed from a mental like fortitude perspective.
see, I feel like his mental fortitude is actually pretty good.
Okay. I think it's improved in the last like 12 months. Like it was really good at like Wimbledon and
Well, that's where I'm
Olympic,
going with it, right? That's where I'm going with it. But I feel like it's a
but
lot like
he's had issues with it in the past. Like I don't think
completely.
it's
I feel like
always been good. Like it's something he's gotten better at.
completely agreed. But I feel like we have to cut him a break that he's 23. You know, I feel
Yeah, we
like
feel like
you know,
he's been around forever. Like I feel like he's like 28, 29. Like that
right. But yeah, because he came up so young, but like
yeah.
because he came up with so much talent and so much hype. But like he's a solid on the natural surfaces. He's really good.
I agree. I agree.
Um, yeah, Medvedev lost again. I think that was disappointing. Where do you put Draper on clay?
It's an interesting one. I had him higher, mistakenly so, before Monte Carlo. Like I actually backed him to win the quarter there. Um, I I think his game, like his strokes suit the surface, but I think he struggles to move on it. I
Yeah,
think that that's the issue.
yeah, I agree.
Um, he doesn't seem to like get himself in the right position to hit the ball, and like when he's at the ball, he hits a good ball, but it's just like he just looks a little clumsy on it. Like, and he just like the footing is not right, and he's just unsure of himself.
Yeah, I was gonna say the unsure of himself piece. That's the verbiage I was gonna use. You stole that from me. I agree. I've still got him. I think at the borderline top, like in the like the bottom of the top 20.
I agree. I agree.
Like he's probably a tier below Fritz for me, which is somewhere in that 15 to 20 range. Like he's still just a really freaking good tennis player.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I was I thought that was disappointing.
Who did he
And to be fair,
lose?
he also just played a bad match against Fokina. Period. He just wasn't. But
Well, I mean, that was a tight match, even like it went deep into a third set, right? And like we talked about how good Fokina has been, right? So I think he needs to make some minor improvements to get to that top 10 to 15 level on clay, but it's pretty minor. Like I feel
it's
like
the
he could
movement.
get
It's
there
just getting
before
more
the
comfortable
match.
moving around the surface.
What's that?
I think it's just getting more comfortable moving around the surface. It might be. It might. Honestly, it might just be like. This sounds kind of silly, but he just might not be like sure how to play the bounce.
Yeah. I feel like he's also had a lot of physical issues at this part of the season that like he hasn't been able to play enough on clay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's been a problem for him in general, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I know. Like it feels like he's always kind of like hurt at this time, so I don't know. Alcaraz, I mean, we've kind of said all we need to say about him. Like he's the best clay court player in the world right now. It's just like, can he not make a bunch of errors, right?
I actually like. I've we said this so many times in this pod, but like, I
Yeah.
actually wonder sometimes like how much he cares about winning 2-0 versus for him if it's a bigger thing of trying to improve and trying to like and playing aggressive. That way he doesn't fall into like being passive later.
I don't really agree with that point. I think it's just a lack of a lapse in concentration.
Okay. Okay. I legitimately
I
wonder
don't
with
think he's thinking like I don't think he thinks, oh, I'm so much better than this guy, so like I can start working on things. Like I don't think he thinks about that. I just
think it's that. I just feel like it's more I feel like it's more like the optimal strategy for him to win. Like today, right? Again, especially when he's playing guys like outside the top 50,
Mhm.
might be to be passive and to let guys make errors because his defense is so good. But it's like a concerted effort to like be aggressive and to play a style of tennis that can beat like top guys. But you might be right. It might just be concentration lapses. I don't know. I feel like I feel like it might be something different with him, but I could be wrong. Obviously,
One
he'll
thing,
never say it, so there's no way to ever know.
one negative criticism towards Alcaraz that I just don't hear a lot of people saying is I think he's way too honest with the media. I think he says too much. Like, what was that he was saying? Like, I was like in a dark place. Like, what? Because you lost to Go fan? Like, okay, maybe that's the case, but like, People don't have to know that.
I don't think it matters. What is it like? What like why like what is it like? How does it make a difference?
It's just first of all, from an optics perspective, I think like he's reaching for sympathy, which I don't really appreciate. And then B, I just don't think it's like necessary for his opposition as well as his fans to know that. Unless you're really like gonna take a break from the sport. Like to me, just the optics of it from a fan perspective is just not cool. It's like Osaka, kind of like borderline Osaka behavior.
Yeah, yeah. I think Osaka's, on a way different league there. Like, because
Yes,
it's not outward, and he doesn't like. But I do feel like there's also an effort from him to market himself, Alcaraz. Like I feel like there's at least some thought from him.
that's not a good strategy.
What?
That's not a good strategy to
Oh,
say.
I disagree. I completely
Like,
disagree.
you think people sympathize? Maybe I don't sympathize, but you think other
Yeah,
people?
I think you're in a quickly declining minority there. Like you're just as a I don't know, just as a dude, you're a little more old school, which there's nothing wrong with that, but like that's just kind of who you are as a dude, like and I feel like there's a lot of fans who empathize with the sympathy. I just mean like I feel like he's not willing to put stuff out there too. Like in the off season, he had stuff out there, but like what going of doing like doing fun stuff, non-tennis stuff. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I don't know. I feel like he's like I don't know, I feel like he's trying to walk that line of like being a star versus like being just a player. Whereas like compared to a Sinner who's super quiet, says nothing, releases very little, like
Yeah,
right, like
which is why I think Sinner is going to have a better career ultimately because he's just more focused on his craft, whereas Alcaraz is more focused on the full package.
yeah, yeah. I think, but I don't think he's not. I don't think he's not focused on his craft. He's
Yeah,
just he tries to do everything.
right, right.
Yeah, I hear that take. I want to get your thoughts on a couple more guys we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
Mensick. I mean,
Uh,
Mensick won
I mean,
Miami.
I said after
That was a good.
Miami, I said after Miami, I think he's going to struggle on the clay.
Yeah,
And I haven't backed off that point. I think it was the match against Hoffman was a little bit of a hangover, effect maybe. Like he hasn't just practiced enough and gotten used to the conditions. But I also think his game style is just not suitable for the surface. He just hits too flat, too low margin on that forehand, especially, which can break down.
yeah.
Um, the serve loses a little bit of potency, right? Like
Tactics just aren't good enough.
exactly.
Like
So
I don't. He's not a very good tactical player. I
no,
mean, he's 19, right? Like
yeah.
he'll get better. Like
I'll
that will
catch him a
improve.
break. It's
But
fine. But yeah, I don't put him as a threat, but I actually think it's a good opportunity to fade him because I think he's going to be overvalued by the market just because of that Miami title.
we'll see. We'll see. Um, yeah, not too many other guys. Oh, you know what? Tabilo, man. We can talk some Tabilo. He's kind of recovered. He's playing a little better. Like I mean, above what it was, right? Like I actually don't think it was ever that bad to start with, but I feel like it's
I'm not taking too much out of that Djokovic win. Like that was way more bad Djokovic than good to Bilo.
okay, but he played Rude tough in Miami. I know my Rude's not the best fast hard quarter, but like I don't know, he took a set off Dimitrov in Monte Carlo, took a set off of Fritz at Indian Wells. Like
Yeah, okay, slight
so
comeback.
he's 4-4 in his past eight. Like
The
you
Indian
know,
Wells one, don't take anything from that. Like that first set was just all bad Fritz. That was horrible Fritz.
okay, but he's 4-4 to be in his past eight matches. Like that's a big improvement over where he was.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there was only one way to go. That was up.
I get it, but like, I don't know. I feel like there's been a I don't know, a slight resurgence. I'm not saying he's back to where he was, like top 20 player gonna make semis of Masters, right? But like, I don't know, man. Like there's a slight resurgence there.
Okay. It's like I don't think it's worth giving him flowers on the pod.
Depends what you've got to do to get flowers in the pod, right? Like, I think that's the question, Like,
you gotta do more than what he's doing to get flowers from me.
I'm just saying it's better than where it was. That's what I'm saying. I feel like this is it's like he's playing like an ATP tour level player again. Berrettini made a run to the quarters of Miami,
Yeah,
which
he made the
on hard.
round of 16, lost to Musetti, right? In Monte Carlo.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that Berrettini made a run on hard because we hadn't seen that in a while.
Yeah, I think he's fine. I don't know. I thought he played a very poor match against Musetti, honestly. He just looked a little off.
Yeah,
Just made a lot of like easy errors. And I actually was surprised how much he was trying to hit through the backhand, given that like he just didn't have an edge in backhand to backhand exchanges. I thought he would have had way more success if he tried to like slice to the forehand and then open up his forehand.
I think the Monte Carlo match against Musetti was very disappointing.
It was disappointing. And I thought it was like the most disappointing part of that match was how poor tactically it was. Like I don't
Yeah, from a guy whose tactics are usually top notch.
exactly, and
I
that's
agree.
what he can fall back on. Like he just played really poorly.
But it was his first run to the quarters of a hardcourt event. Not a hardcourt event, of a hardcourt Masters or Slam in 3 years.
Yeah, he's getting back slowly to where he was. Like I think I mean didn't we have a bet at the beginning of the year who would be ranked higher at the end of it, Lechka or Berrettini?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's actually
And I think I took Lechka. I must have taken Lechka, right?
you took Lechka, I took Berrettini.
Yeah.
I actually think that's given both guys stay healthy. I mean, Lechka can't stay healthy either, so that's why I think it's fascinating. But like, I actually think that will come down to the indoor swing. Like, that's going to be really close.
Yeah, I'm looking up where they are in the race to Turin right now. Right now, Yuri's in 27th.
Okay.
And Barrett with 770 points. Berrettini's in 32nd with 600.
Close.
Yeah, it's close. I mean,
it's a question
one
who can stay healthy for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
What it's going to come down to.
It is. Yeah, it's gonna be whoever can play more tournaments. I agree.
So
going back to anything else to discuss.
But I also think once he gets a little bit of altitude, I think Berrettini is going to be really dangerous. Like, I will probably be backing him in Madrid.
Okay, but like, how many times is he going to get that altitude? Like Madrid,
Catchbull, Gustave.
Okay, if he decides to play those, yeah. If he decides to play those, yeah.
Right.
It's not a lot, is my point. Like.
I mean, and he's
grass
really,
big for
really good on
Berrettini,
grass too. I mean,
the grass.
Yeah, grass. He doesn't even need altitude. I think he's one of the better grass court players out there. Yeah. But like, I don't know. I think Madrid it might be his best, probably his best Masters 1000 or like big event, like in terms of conditions. He made the final there. He lost to Zverev one year.
I'm still gonna say Wimbledon's above that. Like it still is grass.
Okay. Right.
Like grass is grass, but yeah. Also because of how much like the low bounce is better for him, right? On the grass. Like I feel like a lower bouncing court is better for him.
You're probably right.
He doesn't need it, but I feel like it's better for him with like the way he like with how much he sees that.
I think it's better for his backhand. I don't think it's better for his forehand.
I don't think it's terrible. I agree with you. It's worse for his forehand, but I don't think it's terrible.
Okay.
Like I think the benefit he gets out of the backhand, and the fact that I think a lot of guys play worse on, like I'll say, I think more guys play worse on lower bouncing courts than higher bouncing courts.
I'd agree with that. I play better.
Continues to disappoint.
What's that?
Echeverry continues to disappoint.
Yeah. He's just.
I mean, is he like even on clay? Is he even like top 30 right now? I don't think so. He's like 45, 50 almost. Like it's really,
It's been a decline. Yeah, he's very, very one dimensional. He has no he just has nothing to fall back on if he's not feeling it.
yeah.
That's his biggest problem.
Yep. I just think it's very disappointing and interesting that he's fallen off so much from I mean, we were talking about him as being definitely a top 20 clay quarter this time last year, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And 2 years ago
So
too. I mean, talking about guys who really fallen off a cliff. How about Jan Leonard Struff?
yeah, okay, fine. But I feel like, is he really a hard quarter? No. And then and he's just been hurt, right? Like, well, for whatever reason, he decided not to. Well, I guess he doesn't really like to do the Golden Swing. I think he always does that Middle Eastern tour. And then whatever reason he hasn't shown up the two clay matches, 2-1 and Love and 2. He might be hurt. Like it seems.
Doesn't look hurt when I saw him against Vachereau. He just looked like he has no intention of changing any tactics, and if his plan A doesn't work, it's
He
just
never has, right? Like that's never been
yeah,
Struff.
exactly. But it's not working, and he still refuses to do anything else. I don't think he's capable of doing anything else. Like that's the thing with him. Like last year, he was winning the Munich. He won the Munich title, right? And he made finals of Madrid. And he was kind of using those points to build his ranking. And when he doesn't have that, he's a challenger level player.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think he's gonna be back to playing challengers pretty soon because it's really bad. He doesn't look hurt.
Yeah, I haven't really seen too much of it, but it's just the
Yeah.
the last two matches have been really just like the score has been really, really poor. Uh,
Yeah. Um, Baez?
I mean, does anything change with that guy? Like, no, I mean, like he's just like he like so a couple of things. A, he's like really good on the South American clay. Like the way the ball, like he's just really good on that surface. Like that clay is a little bit different. He moves for whatever reason. Like he moves better on the South American clay than anywhere else,
Yeah.
and he really does not move well on hard courts. And it's a huge problem for him because he has nothing else. He's just like he moves, he competes, but he's also got a game to beat bad players. You know,
He
and when I
does.
say bad guys, I mean like guys outside the top 50.
I'm
Like,
just curious, does he have a single win versus a guy in the top 10?
yeah, I think he's beaten Rublev and stuff before. Like, he's not that bad when he's on clay against top guys. It's not good, but it's not that bad. It's just like,
He's 1-16 in his career, and the one win was a 2-4 win against Rublev, as he said in Bastad.
yeah,
But 1-16 in his career.
yeah, 1-7 on. You're right, 1-7 even on clay. I'm thinking he's won a set. He's won a set from Tsitsipas in Madrid, a set in Hamburg from Rude. Twice
He's
he's won a
3
set.
and 30 versus the top 20.
What?
He's 3 and 30 versus the top 20.
On all surfaces, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's got a game. He's got, yeah, he competes well and he's got a good forehand. And he's actually also really good at coming to the net and finishing points at the net and like transitioning.
It's
And
just
that game beats like weaker players, but when he gets up against
yeah.
top guys, like that's just not enough.
It's just funny how like he wins the first set against Holger 6-4, and then like he realizes he's playing a top 20 guy, and it's just like 1-2.
I also think it's just like when if Holger's gonna play well, like he's a guy who's like top end is so limited. He just doesn't have enough power. And if he gets pushed back, like he moves well on the clay.
But it's funny because when he plays those lower ranked guys, it does feel like he has enough power.
Right. Well,
It
when he's not
doesn't feel like
powered,
he's
right?
tremendously underpowered. I feel like almost like he feels like he has to go for more when he plays like someone ranked higher.
I think he does. I think he is underpowered against the top guys. Like, because like what he's really good at least in my opinion, is like getting into that forehand and hitting that forehand, but like hitting that forehand big and like when he's moving forward, hitting big into that forehand, and then coming in and finishing the point. Like that's his skill.
Yeah. Okay.
He's not good at hitting forward. Like, a lot of these guys in the top 10, top 20 can hit, like they're bigger too, right? So they can hit balls out of like tough positions. And he's not like he'll run around, he'll compete, and he'll make balls, but he's not particularly good. Like he's good at getting to balls defensively, but he's not good at like doing a lot with them. And when he gets pushed back, I feel like he doesn't do enough with the ball, and then he looks underpowered. But like if guys don't have enough power to push him back, then he looks fine. I just feel like he really has a game. Like he has a game that's like designed to beat guys between 50 and 100 in the world.
I hear what you're saying. I don't necessarily agree with it. I feel like when he plays someone, you know, quote unquote better than him, he doesn't really play with the same tactics. I feel like he's overly aggressive. And he should rely
Okay.
more on the movement and the defense. And I think he's too aggressive. Like he feels like the court he feels like the court shrinks. But it doesn't.
Yeah, I kind of just I feel like it's fine because I think we both see where the other one's coming from. And I think that's why we disagree. Like
Yeah.
I feel like why I get why you would say that, but I also think it's just a function of like he's not underpowered in the same sense that a lot of like he's not willing to be underpowered. So if he's gonna be underpowered, he just goes for more. Right? In order to avoid like I feel like he doesn't want to.
Yeah, but my point is I don't think he's as underpowered as he thinks he is.
Oh, I think he is. I think he is.
I think that's the perception. I think he gets enough power. I actually think he's just too
See,
inconsistent.
that's where I disagree. I think he gets more like I think he gets power when he's playing offense, but I don't think he gets power when he moves laterally. Not enough. Not enough against a guy like I'm thinking against like the top guys in the sport, the Fritzes, the Runes, the Casper Ruuds on the forehand side. Like I think he's decidedly underpowered there, especially from tough positions. But all right, that's that
Okay.
we've debated it well enough. Like it's that's fine.
Yeah, it's a fun discussion though. Like
Yeah, but either way, it fundamentally doesn't matter. He just doesn't have a game to beat the
yeah,
top
he's
guy.
just not good enough. But like I would like to see him, at least push one of these guys to like a, fourth or fifth set and then at Roland Garros or
I don't think it's a matter of not trying. I just think he's not good enough. He just, you know what I mean? It's he's got to improve, and I don't know how he does it.
okay, that's fair.
I think it's possible. Like I don't think just the fact that he's short is enough of an excuse. You know what I mean? Like I think
Yeah.
it's possible. He just hasn't done it.
What's your outlook on the American guys like Tommy Paul and Tiafoe going forward? Because like Tommy Paul really struggled against Brooksby. He lost to Brooksby in Houston. We
I
haven't
don't
seen
care.
him since.
Like Houston, I do not like. I like that's part of why I didn't bother betting that week is because like I actually thought I love Marrakech. I love Bucharest. I wish they would like. I wish they would just take Houston off the calendar. It's not. It's like it's such a bizarre event. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
But I also feel like Tommy Paul struggled throughout Indian Wells and Miami. Like he didn't look great. Um got blitzed by Medvedev in Indian Wells and then like lost to Cerundolo, who played a good match. I'm not gonna take anything away from him, but then, like regardless of what kind of clay court it is, you shouldn't be losing to Brooksby.
Well, regardless of what court it is, period, he shouldn't be using
Right,
Brooksby. But
exactly.
Brooksby won the event, which is absurd. But it tells you what Houston is. Like it's just a stupid event. Like I mean, look, he did win. No, he didn't win Dallas, but oh yeah, I guess. You know what? Like,
I think it's been a pretty poor run as of late from Tommy Paul. And he just doesn't win enough free points on the serve.
I mean, since Dallas, sure, but my opinion of him hasn't changed. Like, yeah, my opinion of him hasn't changed. I think he's locked himself pretty clearly in like that. Not good enough to make the ATP finals. I mean, maybe he'll sneak in because it's difference between 12 and 8 is not that big, but I feel like he's pretty clearly a 10 to 15 guy in the world, a little worse on clay. But not that much worse. Like I think he's probably the best American. Yeah, Fritz isn't that bad either. Um, TFO, I have a very strong opinion of TFO. Like I have a stoplight with him. Green at Arthur Ashe Stadium, yellow in the USA. Otherwise, red anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like,
I
and
mean,
there's just not much that's going to change at this
he's only winning 65% of serve points
year to date.
in 2025.
65% of serve points is not bad. The average for the top 50, I think, is 66. That's
Yeah,
not
but
that bad.
he's close to a top 10 player. Like
It's
relatively,
not good.
it's not good.
But if it was a couple points high, if it was 68, we wouldn't be having a discussion. I don't think it's been terrible. I think it's very okay.
Okay.
I hear you. Like it's not. Like I think the last 2 months haven't been up to his normal standards, but I'm
He's only
not
winning
saying
53% of second serve points
what
year to date, Paul.
53. I think that's pretty average as well. I think like 50 to 57
Okay.
is the range there. So like it's
Yeah, we're not judging him on average though. Like that's my point.
well, that's average of the top 50, right? So that'd be like borderline like top 30-ish.
Okay.
So like, like is he like has it been I agree with you. It's not been up to top 10 standards and not been up to his standards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also not sounding alarms. Like, like guys are gonna have dips, like throughout the season. Like every single guy has dips throughout the season,
Okay.
right? Like, even Bionic Sinners have small dips, right?
Yeah.
Like for him to dip to like top 30 is for a couple months is not horrid.
Okay. Great. I was impressed with Tiafo for losing in the Houston final and then making the schlep to Monte Carlo and playing 2 matches. Like, regardless of results, like I don't
That was a strong move. I like it. I like it.
strong move. I was impressed by that.
I'm on board.
Nakashima went a day earlier and he got blitzed.
Yeah.
And
I'm on
Tiafo
board.
actually went and beat a decent opponent in Kecmanovic in a third set breaker. Like, kudos. It wasn't, I don't care about I don't care about the opponent. Like, it wasn't like a great win, but impressive. Impressive. I don't think he would have done that in years past.
Yeah, a couple, a guy I wanted to give some flowers to, man. Dahmer Zoomer is back to being ranked 65th in the world.
The guy, I was
I
watching
don't know
his
how.
qualifying. He is such a like little prick on the court.
He is a prick. He is a prick.
He just like looks so like petulant on the court, right? Like with his, the habit of getting the ball like that he won the point with,
Yeah.
and like arguing with the umpire when there's electronic, like I don't know. He just seems like a nightmare to play. He's just so pesty, so petulant, so like just a little like bug on the court that you want to
Yeah.
swat, you can't swat away. Because he
Yeah.
cheats. And like that's really what he reminds me of.
I
But
agree.
credit to him, he's been grinding. He's been grinding away.
Yeah. The guy who's ranked a spot ahead of him, Boo, 60 Boo is his established himself also. Like I
Yeah,
don't think
I was
China
pissed.
was
I backed him in Bucharest to beat Bautista Agut at a decent price, and he choked,
okay.
which was disappointing. I think he's to me he's like a poor version of Kachanov.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, his tactics are I mean, I watched it was borderline comical the Indian Wells match against Medvedev. Because and Medvedev, it was good conditions for Medvedev because it was super slow at night
Yeah.
for the matchup. But like Boo just like on the slowest court at night when it was cold, he continued to run around and give up court position to try to hit forehands. And against Medvedev. And I was just like, what are you doing? Like
Yeah.
you're just setting yourself up to run more. Like this is not the way, Boo. Like you're not getting court, you're not hurting him, like you're just running around like trying like desperately to hit winners, and it's just not gonna happen. So yeah, he's got a long way to go, but I do want to give him some flowers also because he's I think he's established himself as a player.
Hmm.
Uh, Going the other way, Navoni's down to 70 in the world.
Yeah, I mean, disappointing loss to Goffin today. Being, winning the first set 6-love and break points to go up a break in the second. I had one of my worst beats of the year, losing the over 12.5 today, which was just horrible. Having six, I think he had a 6-3 and it was 5-all in the second, and he's still,
He bageled him in the first set. He bageled off in the first set.
bagel, yeah, 6-love, yeah, 6-love in the first set, and he had, I think, 5-all in the second, and I still can't get the over 12.5 because he only won one game in the third. Like,
I mean, we're talking about a guy who was seeded at the French Open last year.
yeah,
Um, and it just really hasn't happened for him since then. And granted, it was never going to happen for him on hard, but even on clay, like Golden Swing, he was only 4-3.
yeah, but
Yeah,
I thought his golden swing wasn't bad though.
what?
Honestly, I thought he ran into really tough draws. To be honest,
Um,
I think
he
he
did. He
played Fonseca in the first round and
brutal
one of
draws.
them.
Brutal draws. You're absolutely right. For Golden Swing, even his wins, like Komasana, Rune, Baena, and Shevchenko. Shevchenko not so much, but the other three are strong wins on clay.
Yeah, really strong,
So I
strong.
think it's just, it's honestly, it's just
Like you're playing golden swing, and your first rounds are Komasana, Rune, and Carballes Baena. Like that's really tough. Like talk about getting brutal draws in those first.
Baena and Shevchenko. Rune was a second rounder, but still pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal. And then uh losses to Fonseca and Baez.
But even he went to Bucharest, which is a pretty weak 250, and he drew Jere. Like, and Fuchsovich isn't a bad. It's not a good loss, but it's not a terrible loss.
To me, like Navoni and Ugo Caraballi are like very, very similar players. Like they're both like pesty. They're both like decent good rally tolerance, but they just don't have enough. Like they're similar, and they're both like poor man's version of Baez.
Well, I think two things. Like, I think like this is gonna sound really weird, but I think being at tour level kind of does Navoni a disservice
Kind of did,
because
yeah.
he has to play on hard 2/3 of the year, right?
Right.
And he has to
Good point.
play against like good players. Like I feel like for
Yeah.
pure ranking, he'd be better off like pulling the Emma Navarro on the WTA and just being like a top 50 player who plays challengers all the time. I'm not saying I want to see it. If he was doing it, we would bash the hell out of him on this pod.
Right.
But like I feel
Yeah.
like that's like if he was, if he wanted to be a prick and just like just prioritize ranking points, I feel like that's what he would do.
I tend to
He just
agree.
stay in South America, right? Then he could stay home and wouldn't have to travel around the world and like, yeah.
I
But hey,
actually
good
I
tries. Good.
actually thought he would be better. Like
What?
I actually at one point put him ahead of Baez on clay, and like this recent like little stretch kind of made me revise that statement. Like
Yeah,
Baez is
I mean
better.
it's not a little stretch. I think it's. I mean, since Roland Garros, it's not been pretty.
But then again, he has Madrid, and if he loses early in Madrid, he has those the Clay Challenger 175. So like there's time for him to get some.
Yeah, and ironically, like he could do well on a 175. Like it's kind of
Yeah,
a good event for him.
absolutely.
Like that's where he would probably be like at his best.
Right, right. It'd probably be beneficial for him to lose early in Madrid and then play that 175.
Yeah, ironically, like the worst possible outcome for him might be like round of 16 in Madrid because I think it's only like 90 points or something.
Exactly, and then he would not be able to play the Challenger
The
175.
175, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, I think that'd be the worst for him would be a round three loss actually be the nut low because that would be like you lose on a Sunday, Monday, so you
yeah,
can't play 175,
right, right.
and like you only get third round points, which is like 45, which is like the equivalent of making like the semis probably of
Yeah. I mean, he's a guy, if he plays Geneva, for example, I think like he might be an interesting guy to back. I don't
Yeah,
think he should play Hamburg because I think Sinner and Zverev are playing that event. But
yeah.
if he goes to Geneva, I think that's probably a good event. I also think he needs a little bit of altitude. Just doesn't have enough.
No, I disagree. I disagree. I think like I disagree. I understand why you would say that,
Okay.
but I disagree. I just think like I guess like against tour level guys, yes, but maybe not so much against like guys like below the like against guys like 20 to 50, I think I agree with you. But against guys like 50 to 100, maybe not. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe drop those down a few, but like I agree. I think he's like because he actually hits a pretty good ball. Like I think he hits a better ball than Ugo Carbelli, which is but I just don't like. But it's like not it's not good enough against the top 50.
Okay. Fair.
Um, yeah, I think in terms of like I think that's pretty much all I've got to talk about. I was looking a little bit at the Challenger Tour.
Mhm.
We'll see him coming up on the tour pretty soon, but Rafa Collignon is a
Yeah,
name to watch. He's up
absolutely.
in the top 100 now. He's at the end there at 83, doing really well on the Challenger Tour. He'll be a name to watch.
I agree.
Um,
Haven't seen too much of him, but yeah, I mean he's been impressive on the Challenger Tour. Emilio Nava has also been really kicking some ass on the Challenger circuit. I think he won like three straight South American challengers, and then he went to Sarasota and won a challenger. So I don't know how much that's going to translate to the main tour, but I just want to give him some props.
so 100% agree with you. I give him his flowers because he's been really, really good the past 2 months. He is on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17 match winning streak.
Yep.
But I agree. I feel like he's the baseball term of a quad A guy.
Right. But
Or
to
maybe
win
just like a really
17
good
straight
play.
matches against any pro level tennis like player, like that's pretty good. That's worth some flowers.
Yeah, you get some flowers. I mean, yeah. But yeah,
Yep.
low ceiling dude. Um,
Yeah, that's about all. Medvedev.
General question.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on the tour moving to completely electronic this year, even on clay?
You know me. I like the challenge system.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really think about it during the match, but like I think it's the best for the fans, and I actually like the strategy aspect of it, where players have to pick and choose when to use it. You know, like if you get three a set, you
Yeah.
know, then it's going to be right like 99% of the time. But you also have to be strategic about it. You can't just like waste it on dumb calls. And like I think some human element is okay if you have means to get it right, and that's exactly what the challenge system does. And I think just voiding it completely is just like it's not. But I also understand it from a financial perspective because like probably paying all those lines people hourly costs more than inputting this technology.
Yeah. Yeah.
So financially I kind of get it as well. So I don't know. I prefer it than checking the mark, obviously. Like, don't get me wrong. But I still would prefer the challenge system.
I was always a big fan of check the mark, but I agree with you. The problem is like these umps aren't always as good at checking the mark as you'd think.
Yeah, they suck at it, honestly. Like, they're terrible.
And like sometimes they don't get out of the chair when they should. And yeah, like um but yeah, but there's been some, I don't know, the players get kind of whiny about it sometimes, but I think they just get whiny to get whiny.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, overall I don't know. I feel like I'm okay with it. The funnier one is putting in the rule of the 3 video replays per set for non-line calls. And the fourth if you make the tiebreak. Like, I don't know why every guy doesn't argue anything that's like borderline close. Like, there have been a few times the guys haven't like challenged things that they could have challenged. And I'm like, dude, like you're gonna use like 2 a season. Like, if you have any doubt, just challenge it. Like,
One thing they do have to get rid of is like, oh, I didn't agree with that. Can you just show me what it was? Like, I hate that. I wish the umpire was like, no, you can't see it. It was out. But the umpires are so soft in this sport. Like, if I was as soft as they are in the pharmacy doing my actual day job, like I'd be canned. Like they literally just sit there, and then if there's any argument, they call the supervisor.
so I'll counter that.
I hate it.
It takes like 10 seconds to show the stupid mark. Like, it just doesn't, not like to show the replay. It takes like 5-10 seconds. It's not like
It's the same principle as like, when we play, right? And like I hit a ball out, you call the ball out, right? And I ask, oh, how much? Right? Does it matter? No, you lost the point regardless, whether it's like this much out or like this much out. It doesn't matter, right? When you're playing a match, right? If you're practicing, it's one thing, then you can recalibrate. But like, I hate that question when I like,
all right,
you hit
okay.
the ball out, and
Yeah,
then like my opponent asks me like, oh, by how much?
I think that's a valid take. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily
It's
agree
the
with
same
it.
thing as asking the umpire to show the mark.
Yeah, I agree. I think I hear your point. I think you make a valid point. I don't agree with it, but I think it's a valid point.
All right. Does it bother you when like, you're like during a match, like your opponent asks you how much was that out?
As long as they're reasonable about it, no. Like, if they ask and it's like this far, like this far out, something like that, I'm okay with it. I've had guys ask on balls that are like this far out, and I'm like, dude, like really, like.
Uh,
To be
yeah.
fair, I did that once on a ball that was like 8 feet out because I just like I like slipped and fell and I couldn't see it all, and it would have been like a really amazing shot if I would have made it. And I like thought it was close, like based on like not seeing it, right, based on like how I hit it, I thought it was close, and it turned out it was like like 8 feet, and I felt really stupid.
That's funny.
And I couldn't believe it. And like it was like a team match. There were a bunch of people watching, and then people were like, "Yeah, that was like 8 feet." Like, oh. It was clear I couldn't see the ball at all. Like, I fell and like twisted and like turned. It was like completely turned away.
Yeah.
So I had no sight at all of the ball. But like, yeah. And all I saw was a guy like run back, like as if like the ball was actually possibly good. Like before I like turned away or like, So like, yeah, it seemed like it was closer than what I thought. But yeah.
Uh,
But
all
but
right.
yeah,
Well, we're going off on a tangent, so I think it's time to end it. But
I think when it's 2 a.m. and we're talking about tennis stories, I think it's probably good enough.
yeah, I want to upload the pod and upload the plays as well. So
Yeah, I gotta upload my plays too. All right, guys.
all
Hey,
right.
hey, before we
Have a good
go,
one.
everybody, appreciate the support.
Yes.
A lot of great conversation. Smoothman Betts has been our latest guy who's had a lot of chat. Had a couple of really good spaces too.
Yes. Yes.
These spaces with Tennis Investment Club and MP9. We had like 5 or 6 guys talking double fault. Will from the double fault pod. That was an awesome spaces. Really enjoyed that one too.
That was really good. We got to do some more of that. Hopefully some for the Masters 1000s coming up. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right, everyone. Good night.
Good
Take care.
night, guys.
Yeah.